myself to someone else's thing instead of doing any work myself.
No, I'm so excited to be back. I'm ready for some more horror gameplay. I have my notes from last time. For those of you who may or may not remember, I am of course bringing back a character called named Solace Black. He is sort of a religious man, and he has some theories about what's going on. I don't know. He started out one way, and I think he kind of went Rain Man last session. So
Black Soul, super edgy.
Yeah.
Edgy AF is it Silas or Solace? I wrote down as Silas.
I wrote it Solace, but you could call him Silas. I guess that we'll keep that because
All
everyone
right.
seems to just
All right.
gravitate towards that and stick there.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So we'll do a little recap of
I
last.
think I acknowledged your character.
Who is this man talking to me? So we'll do a little recap of last session, but first off, let's meet who the characters are first off, because that's pretty important. So let's start with Lee. So Lee, tell us, who are you playing today?
I am playing Cecily Chadwick, author and lead investigator into the paranormal. She is absolutely taken with anything occult, anything she's been through hell and high water quite literally. As we discovered last session.
Yes.
So I'm very much looking forward to how she reacts to things that are ongoing. Because I think last session she encountered a body outside of her childhood home that is absolutely the spitting image of herself.
Indeed.
Forgot about that entire part. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you guys, we should have all been taking notes. So
I was, and then I saw no one else was, so I just stopped.
Well, there you go.
And then I forgot to click save, like always.
Yeah, that's the classic. Gareth's got it.
Gareth's got them in a hard copy.
We have a collective pamphlet on the handouts for all of us to take our notes collectively.
Someone could teach me to
We're
read.
a hive mind.
Yes.
I just have a notepad document. So
All right then.
Awesome.
So Mythmatic, who are you playing today?
I'm playing Angus Callum. He's maybe a reskinned Sean Connery. So there.
All right. Let's move on. So Silas, you told us a little bit about yourself, but remind us, who are you?
Yes, I'm Solace Black, and he's a bit of a religious man. His clothes are kind of tattered, and he's very troubled by visions, by religious illusions, some might say, and so he's taken to carving and burning symbols, holy symbols, into his body. He clutches a big text that he took from the library, and he's often leafing through it as he investigates the crime scenes that we've found so far.
Yes.
So Nightcrawler. You're Nightcrawler.
Sure, why not?
All right.
Sure. All right then. And Gareth, who are you playing today?
I'm playing George Bullard, who is kind of an ex-thug type that joined the army, became a pilot, was a bit of a hero, and then he's come and worked his way back to this secret special force that does it have a name yet?
The British Secret Service is all that you know. You haven't named yourselves, so if you want to give your group a name, you can. It's Cecily's division, so...
Oh, yeah.
There's no official name for it at this point.
Can we not call it the Ghostbusters though? Let's not call it
How about Goats Busters?
Goats Busters. You just bust goats all day long.
Goats. It would be so apt.
That would be quite, yeah. That would work pretty well. Perfect. So Gareth is playing George Bullard today, isn't it right?
Yeah,
Bullard.
Bullard.
Okay, cool. And finally, the man whose name I don't even know who's going to be playing today. So Brad, have you decided on a name for your character today?
The girl has no name.
Ooh,
That's my name.
no
I'm
name.
going with that. No, I mean, I know nothing about my character because you still haven't told me anything or given me the roll 20. So
The roll
at
20
this
is there
point,
in...
I'm going
well,
with special.
Girl has no name. I like it.
The
That's
roll
my name.
20 is in Zoom.
Yeah, is in the Zoom.
You sassy man. And also...
I have a roll 20 link.
That should work.
Oh, this one. Here we go.
Yes. But pretty much you can decide on anything about your character. It's up to you, dude. I don't want to force anything on you.
I'm thinking I'm going to go with my fullback, Steve Pterodactyl.
Yes.
Special Agent Steve Pterodactyl. But it's probably a code name that I earned.
Yeah, Steve P.
Yeah, Steve's not a very believable name, so
Yeah.
definitely.
Pterodactyl is more of an undercover name.
What's the origin of Pterodactyl? Oh, I don't know.
Pterodactyl.
Or maybe you'll
Your ass.
like investigate me at some point and find out my origins.
Yeah, maybe we'll learn more about the pterodactyl.
Code name Special Agent Steve Pterodactyl.
Your origins.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll go with Steve though, because Steve is nice and simple. And then
What about Mr. T?
Mr. T.
and Mr. Pterodactyl.
Pterodactyl. Dear God. All right, cool. So we'll learn more about Steve in a bit, but feel free to pretty much make up anything about him you want. I've just given you a character sheet and the fact that he is a member of the Secret Service. So other than that, just fuck around a bit and do whatever you want, man. So let's do a recap of last session. In fact, before we do that, because it's going to take 5 minutes, because there was a lot of fucking things which went on, it's like Will in 20 years. Yeah, if you look down here, this is what I will look like in the future, because Brad has been confirmed to be my brother.
That's what we had the other day. Someone came in and was like, "Oh, they look like brothers."
They look just like brothers, yeah.
Don't put yourself down, Brad. Come on.
Wow.
Come on.
Wow.
Let's be nice about each other.
I'm like a horrific aged crone version of Will.
I like to say parallel universe Will. That's nice to everyone then.
Yeah.
Parallel
Brentception.
universe Will.
Indeed.
Yeah, we'll go with
Indeed.
Parallel Will.
Parallel.
Perception, yeah. Thank you, Annie. Annie's a friend of mine.
Nice.
Well, was, not anymore.
Wow. So as we start today's show, I'll remind you guys before we get into a recap of a few ways you can interact with our show. And in fact, I've got exciting news for our players in that we have a viewer decision coming right up here at the beginning of the game, which is going to be a lot of fun. You guys are going to get to decide what happens next to our players after we set the scene for you guys. However, we can have another viewer decision when we hit 25 retweets. And you find the tweet is in the chat there, and you can find it. At 25, you guys will have another viewer decision where you get to decide what happens in our game, ways to screw with these parties in ways you would not believe. We're already at 15 retweets, which is good. Good news for players, that we can screw with them multiple times. Also, if you're new to Encounter Roleplay and you haven't been here before, then do hit that follow button and join us when we hit another follow goal, which we've already hit. We'll have another viewer decision, but it's also just a great way to catch all of our shows. We're here 5 nights a week, 10 shows a week, or loads of D&D. We've even got D&D happening later on today at 7, with Brad and Orca Kitty and Pony Punch and Trainsy all coming in to play a wonderful game of Monster Mash with us in D&D, where they'll be playing playable monster races rather, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Me and Brad homebrewed the races on Monday, so you can be sure that they're going to be overpowered as all shit. And thanks so much to except for the goblin who Brad is playing.
Goblin. Everyone else is like mind flayers and spectators.
Yeah, he chose the OP class. But thanks so much to Annie for following. Welcome to the adventure. You're a gentle lady and a scholar. Thank you for joining us. So let's go into a recap for today. Also, if you played D&D 5th edition or you want to, here's a giveaway for a D&D 5e starter set. We were playing that yesterday. Get your hands on a copy or a copy for a friend. So, let's just fucking jump into last session. So, I'm going to start off with Lee. So, Lee,
Yes.
remind us how episode 1 started, if you'd be so kind.
Okay, episode 1 started with a sort of panning camera angle of the new. Essentially, it started with a recollection of Cecily's background.
It did, yeah.
Into the new sort of secret service, into the paranormal. I guess you could call it the SSIP.
Yeah. We could call it Neku 9368. Welcome, my friends, to the adventure. You're a gentleman, and it's got rolls right off the tongue, that one.
Right off Neku.
9368, yeah.
Yeah.
Neku
It's
9368. Yeah, it's cool.
Year of our Lord.
That's the code name. So it was like a panning camera angle of everyone sort of. I believe it was Cecily and George talking about the case.
Yes.
In Darkmere, and she was trying to explain what happened, and George was like, "Mate, did you not like just punch her
Yes.
like over and over again? Like, why did you not just kick her in the face? Were you not like trying to get her attention?" And then they were summoned by R. Was it R? Is that
Yes,
his name?
his code name is R. He is the kind of chief of security at the British Secret Service.
Yeah, told us of a murder.
A murder.
A murder.
A murder.
A murder.
Harry.
Of the chief of police, chief of Scotland
Indeed.
Yard.
Yes, chief of Scotland Yard.
Murdered in
And
his own home.
yes, he'd been killed in his own mansion, the chief of police. And Gareth, do you remember the name of the chief of police, or does any of you remember the name?
Was it Archie Sterling?
It was Archibald Sterling.
Sterling
1 point to Gareth.
Yeah, and he'd been
yeah.
killed. His organs were missing.
Yeah.
He was missing his eyes, his tongue, his ears, and his throat had been ripped out.
Yep, yeah, his appendix was gone. Extra points to Gareth there. Askren, can you tell me another detail about his murder, which made it suspicious, I suppose? There wasn't any sign of forced entry, right?
No, we knew that clearly the person that had murdered him, he knew very well, and he had invited in because not only was there no forced entry, but he had also set a glass of whiskey on the table for his guest. Also, I have notes specifically about the fact that he was tortured on the ground.
Yes.
But his original attack was while he was sitting in a chair, and he was attacked from the front. So he was clearly facing his attacker, meaning he was probably very comfortable with the person.
Yes, yeah. Whoever had killed him probably knew him, or at least was friendly with him. Also, it looked like he'd been overpowered and strangled first by a very, very strong person, which would suggest a male killer. Mythmatic, do you remember about the whiskey? Whatever we talked about the whiskey, yeah, that was another kind of point.
I don't know if I have any notes about the whiskey.
There were
notes about the whiskey.
Lee, take it away. There was 2 whiskey glasses,
There were 2
right?
glasses of whiskey, and there was no sign of struggle, so it was as if the Archibald actually had a guest.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the one whiskey was it drained? One of them was drained, and the other one was like full.
Full,
As if it hadn't been touched.
Yeah, untouched. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was also kind of interesting about the killing. Also, Gareth, there were lots of portraits of family members around the mansion, right? But do you remember what happened to those pictures?
All the women's faces have been removed from the portraits.
Yes, they'd been kind of slashed off.
I don't remember, just clarify for me. Was it the same woman cut out of every portrait or a different woman?
It was
All
the same.
different women.
Oh, it was the same. Let me check. Let me go.
Was it the same? I was pretty sure it was just all the women.
I don't
Had
think
their
we
eyes,
actually
their
knew.
mouth.
I don't think you checked.
Okay.
I don't think we actually knew they were family members either.
It was something I thought I'd ask last week. But
Yeah, I mean, it was presumed to be family, I guess, because they were all in family portraits. Yep. Okay, so there was that as well. There had also been a sighting of the killer. Mythomatic, do you remember someone had seen the killer and he'd actually taken a shot at him? There was an old guy, and I believe it was I think it was Askren's scene, but it was an old guy.
Butler?
The butler, indeed.
Shot and it hit one of the people in the portrait between the eyes.
Yes.
Yeah, his mother.
Yeah, Edit.
Mother.
He had shot the mother in the eyes. Apparently, he had seen the killer running from the room outwards, and he had panicked. And supposedly, he had taken a gun from the kitchen drawer. And Silas, Aston's character, found it highly suspicious that he would have a gun in a kitchen drawer. And upon kind of further interrogating him, you ended up arresting him because he wouldn't tell you anything else. So he is now in police custody, awaiting an interrogation by you guys. And thanks so much to Pixelate Dotter for following. Welcome to the adventure, my friend. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Appreciate that. And also, Cecily, you saw something very disturbing whilst in the room of the dead body. There were, in fact, 2 things. The first of which, there was a symbol upon the body. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this symbol?
It was a symbol she'd seen before in Darkmere when she'd sort of taken herself through that, debacle.
Yeah.
It was a triangle with a circle in it, and it was carved into Archibald's sort of torso. And what was the second thing? Oh God.
It was a lucky game of 15. Welcome to the adventure. You're a gentleman and scholar.
It was the lucky game, and also it was a pile of notes regarding a
Yes.
case from the 1800s, about
1800s, yeah.
30 years earlier.
It was about 30 years earlier.
Regarding a pirate, like a pirate thing, like someone had been it was a lot of it redacted, yeah.
Yeah,
Someone
so
had
you
been kidnapped
found
by pirates.
Yeah, you found a file which was about a certain man whose name is unknown who was abducted by pirates about 30 years ago. And its classification, because it's so redacted, was classification Omega. And Eric, who is your kind of undercover officer and also kind of one of your main contacts in the Secret Service, He knows that it was very, very strange that a chief of police officer could gain access to this file. Highly suspicious that he has access to it, and almost impossible for him to gain Omega level access, which is very strange. The only other thing was there was a doll, which you saw briefly, and kind of very creeped you out very much because you'd previously had nightmares and visions about this doll in season 1, and they had ended up being very terrible
Nightmares
things.
is just the understatement of the
Yeah,
century.
that's only the beginning of it, really. So after you had taken to the scene of the crime, you went and Askren had talked to the butler, arrested the butler. George, who did you go and speak to? You spoke to a young lady, right?
I spoke to his, I want to say receptionist, personal
Yeah,
assistant.
his secretary, I suppose, yeah.
I've wrote tasty German, but I can't remember her name.
Her name is Claudia.
Claudia!
It was
But she-
tasty German.
Tasty
She
German,
was a
that's a
tasty German, and she was clearly in love with him. She was the only one that had nice things to say about him, and apparently he came and whisked her away from a bartending
Yeah.
/ a waitress job in Germany.
Yeah, so he'd previously visited Germany and taken her from there. She was kind of in love with him. The love didn't seem to be reciprocated, and she didn't really tell you too much other than the fact that there had been no visits that night. No one had come to visit in his diary that night, so whoever it was turned up unexpected. Let's go to who's. In fact, you spoke to Nelly as well. Someone spoke to Nelly, and I believe it
Yeah,
was.
I spoke to Nelly.
Yeah, it was you. Yeah.
She was a lady of the night that had been given
Yes.
a job, I believe.
Yeah.
She told us of a bar that he used to frequent.
Yes. The drunk captain bar.
She had said that no one liked him. And it was the Drunk Captain, the name.
It was, yeah. The drunk captain bar is the name of that establishment.
Yes, and we gave her a lift. That's about all I've got.
Okay, cool. There was one important fact about Nelly that she told you about Archibald Sterling. And do you remember what their relationship was like, Askren? Between Archibald and Nelly, who had previously been a prostitute, and then she started working as a servant there. She had told you that he wasn't particularly nice to her, and she actually told you she showed you something on her. Lee, do you remember that? I thought you seemed particularly.
Yeah. Nelly and Archibald did not have a good relationship. Well, he kind of employed her
Yes.
to give her a place off the streets, but sort of as far as I know, they didn't have the best of relationships.
Yes.
They weren't necessarily unfriendly, but they were a bit on cold terms.
Well, in fact, they were very unfriendly because she had actually told you. So this is a free giveaway here if those who forgot. She showed you her arm, and she had bruises all up her
All
arm.
up her arm.
Yeah, she
I
had
remember
been physically abused by Archibald Sterling, and she had no love lost for him whatsoever. And she was, very much happy that he was dead. In fact, do you remember, Gareth? She asked you to take her back to the East End, right?
Yes.
And you guys were going back to the bar. You spoke around in the bar, but you didn't gain too much information. But then you got a call from a phone box outside. Do you remember what that call said, George?
Yeah, they said we needed to go to Evangeline Street.
Yes.
There'd been a murder, very similar conditions, and it was a lady who was a street worker.
Yes.
Worked on the street. Maybe she was cleaning up or something like that. I'm not sure the exact definition of that.
Big walker.
And so the kidneys, lungs, ovaries, and heart had been removed.
Yes.
And it was outside someone's house.
Yes. Whose house was that outside? Yes.
Cecilians.
Cecily Chadwick. So
Sir Lillian's childhood home.
yes, so you'd lived there as a child, and the body was not killed there. She wasn't killed on Evangeline Street. You don't know where she was killed, but her body was dumped there.
She was dumped outside, yeah, and she was the absolute spitting. Dumps like a truck. Guys
Yeah.
like, what? What's going on? So, yeah, spit an image of Cecily.
Yes.
Terrifying.
Yeah, and in fact, her hair had been cut with the same kind of blade which had been used to murder her and to carve out her organs and to carve a symbol on her body. And oh man, Brad saw spoilers earlier. He knows that Cecily is Cthulhu. God damn.
No.
Oh, guys,
I
you gave it
think
away.
At this point, George actually took a crowbar and broke into the house. As
Indeed. So one other thing is towards the end of the session, so we're all getting a bit tired. But as you found the body, there was one other lead. The mortician Withers had told you about all this stuff about how she died, but he also said that they were holding a taxi driver, and taxi cabs are very uncommon at this point in 21. There were very few of them around London, but there was a taxi cab driver who had supposedly dropped off a person, a man, at this house, at this address earlier this night. And so supposedly whoever had killed it could have possibly taken the taxi there, and so there's a possible eyewitness to the murder. Or it could in fact be the taxi cab driver himself. You haven't met him yet. But he goes by the name of Smitty, because his last name is Smith. And just as we ended the session, you guys had entered her family residence, Cecily's old family home, and you'd open up the door and it was very, very creepy inside, very old and disused, and last thing that Cecily had seen was a doll at the end of the hallway. So you're in a dusty hallway where Cecily Chadwick used to live, and the group of people there, other than Steve, Special Agent Steve Pterodactyl, who we'll get to in a bit, Steve P, and who will be joining us in a few moments. You don't know that though. That's classified information.
Yeah, classified meta.
Yeah,
That's like Omega level.
That's Omega level access right there. That's Pterodactyl level access. Classified Pterodactyl level.
Classification level pterodactyl.
His fingers like red.
My God.
Infrared pterodactyl.
It can only be seen with invisible ink. No, you do that thing where like you plot out on the map all the locations of the death, and it just forms a perfect pterodactyl. So let's get into today's session, and let's see how insane we can drive our party members today. So let's get into it. Obviously, you guys were writing this to me in chat, so no spoilers in chat. You'll be timed out if you spoil stuff for players, because we don't want that to happen. They want to enjoy the story, as evil and terrible as it is. So let's...
May I say two things?
Yes, you may
before we
say...
begin? First of all, it's been a very long time since I've played Call of Cthulhu, and I only played it for a very short amount of time, so I apologize for just how awful I will be when it comes to anything happening.
Don't worry about it.
Second
None
of
us
all,
know how to play.
well, I was about to say actually, second of all, the amount of stuff you lot got done in that first session, by the sounds of it, is beyond anything. Like, all we did when I played this before is like we saw some awful vision and all of our characters just went insane and died.
Perfect.
Didn't get any investigation done because we were all half mad straight away, and it was just terrible. So I feel like you lot actually are the Special Agent Goat Pterodactyl Group 1.
Goat
The
Dactyl.
Ghostbusters. The
The
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
I'm already incredibly impressed with this team.
They're good. They're my crack squad.
Steve Pterodactyl.
You've got the pterodactyl approval,
Yeah. All right then. So
I mean, I
let's.
didn't do anything. I just walked around and pretended I was Sean Connery. Everybody else did the work.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing almost exactly the same thing, except I'll be another form of Bond.
Great.
So as we begin today's session, we do have a viewer decision to get, and we don't want it to just be anything, but I do want it to be something cool and creepy. So underneath this line here in the chat, you guys are going to decide a creepy detail or clue which they find in the house. They're going to find something in here. We don't know what it is yet. You guys can decide. So throw your ideas out into chat, and the most popular one will happen. So throw out some creepy things that could be around this haunted house here that they're entering into, and we'll see what happens. So, you guys have entered into the house. Before you lies a hallway. It's very dark in here, no illumination whatsoever other than the moon itself, and you probably have a few flashlights upon you, which you're using to see in here. As you're looking, you see that there are some old paintings up, dusty and cobwebbed up on the wall still, and down the end of the corridor where you saw the doll, which is now gone, there lies some kind of kitchen room. It's a very small apartment. East side of London, 1920s. It's nothing special whatsoever, and there are 2 bedrooms as well. This is single story. 2 bedrooms on the left-hand side of the corridor, which are closed currently. So you got a kitchen at the end. 2 doors on the left, which lead into probably bedrooms, and on the right-hand side of the wall in this hallway, there is a painting. And thanks so much to the frog. He's donates £5. Let's start a donation train. Myth, can you roll on the hallucination table, please? That does work quite well. So the frog asked if we could have a hallucination table for us. It's a D50 for what Angus sees, and I'll show you guys in chat what it is we're looking at.
The way you work it, D50.
There we go. That is a hallucination table. And let me know what you get, buddy. And we'll see here.
4.
4.
Wow.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay. Whatever you guys do, don't look at this table, players. Don't cheat yourselves. Okay then, that will be very interesting indeed. Okay. Don't worry about that. That definitely will have 0 consequences whatsoever.
Perfect.
Great. You're in the hallway. What are you guys doing? The 4 of you.
This looks like the kitchen.
Is there any signs that anyone's been in here before us?
Why don't you look and stop talking about it?
You were the first through the door.
Oh,
Sauce.
excuse me. Yes. Come on in, sorry. Just move past.
Does it like? Is the place like covered in dirt, or does it actually look like there have been?
There are, on a quick inspection, there are cobwebs everywhere. However, on the floor, as you bend down to check the kind of dust levels, it looks like it has been moved through by people. Not
Dust levels
particularly
over 9,000.
over 9,000 right now. But yeah, you don't see.
On my scanner for that.
Good lord! Thanks so much to Sway. He donates £6. After all the events that's happened, Cecily feels very unlucky. Double nat ones. Damn.
Thanks,
Sway,
Sway.
that is
Story of my life.
that
Thank
is
you.
that is rude.
Thank you very much.
This game is a nat 100. Right?
Yeah. So I'll give that a go, don't worry. Wild magic surges can occur, of course. It's Cthulhu, there's Mythos going on, and there's the bizarre. So the more bizarre we get, the better, really. But it looks like it's been travelled through. There are people who have walked through here within the past week at least.
Okay. I want to follow, because I'm assuming they made like a path or footsteps through the dust.
Yeah.
I just want to do my best to follow them into whatever room it
Sure.
looks like.
So you walk into the kitchen area.
Okay.
And this kitchen is filled with unwashed pots and pans. And now, in theory, this place hasn't been inhabited in a very long time. No one's officially living here. It's been boarded up. But there are unwashed pots and pans. There are these filthy plates which are molding and decaying. You even catch a rat scurrying around. And in fact, more worrying, there is a rat which has been pinned to the counter with a knife through it. The knife looks like a standard kitchen knife, but it looks like it's been there for a while. Further investigation around the kitchen as the group of you sort of begin to walk in here, or at least Silas comes in here, you do notice that on the kitchen counter are 2 glasses. One of these glasses is filled with whiskey, or some, it looks like a bourbon or a whiskey, some dark kind of drink, alcoholic beverage on this kitchen table. And looking over to the wall, there is a smashed glass up on the wall. And also a D10,000 for Cecily from Flaming Killer. Thank you very much, my friend.
What do you mean a smashed glass?
Thank you.
A smashed cup, or like a mirror, or a window?
Yeah, a smashed glass, like a drinking glass. And that would have held a drink in it. And you can see it's been thrown against the wall, smashed up.
So the glass is like on the floor.
On the floor.
Okay.
Has Cecily made it clear to us? I don't remember at the end of last session that this is her old house.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. You came over and asked if it was okay that you broke in.
Okay, yeah, I'm polite like that.
Yeah, you're lovely. Is it alright if I break it? I was like, honestly, just go for it.
So I'd go up to say, has anyone, is this how you used to live in it? Has it changed? Is anyone else moving after you?
As far as I know, no. As far as I know, this is exactly how it was left.
What about that? Is that familiar? And I point down to the doll.
She flinches. She says, "No, it's not familiar."
I'll pick the doll up and have a look at it.
Yeah, it's a child's doll. They're girls in like a little girl's kind of dress. It's pretty simple. Yeah, it doesn't appear to be kind of anything particularly malign. You know, a lot of children around the world would have these.
I kind of put it a bit like, are you sure? It's kind of right on the floor here. Strange,
Yes.
strange thing to be in a deserted house.
I can't tell you how much I hate dolls, George. This isn't.
All right.
That's so cute. Look at this. Beautiful little doll.
It's so cute.
While I'm in the kitchen, I'm gonna take the glass, and I'm assuming I got a whiff of it, but when we were back at the house, but I'm gonna call Angus. I'm gonna say, "You look like a man that's familiar with drink more than I.
Aye, yes, I've had a couple in my time.
Is this the same content from the sheriff's?"
Well, let me see. Well, it's dark in color like the one before. It smells like a insert liquor here. Well,
Yeah, does it smell like the same quality?
Yeah,
Like, is it definitely the
Is it
same?
a scotch
Yeah.
or a bourbon?
it's a bourbon. You can smell it. It's kind of almost an aniseedy smell to it.
well, it's got the flavoring of the sweetness of a bourbon. It doesn't really have the peaty smell of a scotch, so I think it's probably the same.
And I sip it, and then I carry it for the rest of the investigation.
Just is it like a dust?
And it's like, yeah, it's like dust
Is
covered.
that like nursing it? Like,
Yeah, it's
oh,
like-
I've not had a drink in so long, it's
It's
worth it.
quite good, actually. It's starting to lose my vision, but it's not.
Red
You stopped me
vintage.
drinking the whiskey from the last one. You're like, no, that's really bad for you. So I didn't drink it.
Because it had blood all over it, or it was like
Tastes
in
a little
crime
iron.
scene. You know what I mean?
Tastes metallic.
I just wanted to know, probably via his nose, whether it was like a different whiskey or it was clearly like the same thing that that had come from
It's Macallan 18 year.
the dude.
Yeah, you are to a reasonable degree of accuracy. It is the same make. That's obviously probably not from the. You
And now
can't
it's
tell.
canon that I am a giant liquor connoisseur.
Yeah, well, he's Sean Connery.
That's how I imagined Sean Connery. I mean,
Shots fired against Sean Connery.
He's gonna be angry when I tell him.
That's a
being a
sixth
whiskey
sense for booze.
like,
All right, let's bring it in. So,
Way back.
you
so
can
I,
tell.
so I look, I say, so is it a message? Is someone trying to tell us something?
Well, it's a very, very odd choice of venue for it. It could be coincidence, but
There's two glasses. One's been full, the other's empty, and then left here.
I mean, what's that knife? So is the knife? Where's the knife stuck? You said it was stuck into
Knife's
something.
stuck into a rat on the kitchen counter. Yeah, it's a standard-looking kitchen knife.
I'll go and kind of. I'll touch the rat to see. Is it like in full rigor mortis? Is it freezing cold? Is it?
It's been dead a while. Yeah, I mean, you know, like
Skeletal yet?
connoisseur of the dead rat, but it's got flesh on it. It's like it's being eaten by maggots and stuff, so it's still fairly fresh, I suppose. You know, it's within earlier signs of decomposition.
What about this? Was this area when you used to live here? Did you have rat problems?
I mean, rats are pretty common down the east side of London, so you know, rats would be around. But
We had the odd few, yes. We did have the odd few. We used to employ our cat Tibbles to look after them. But he's long gone now.
he's been flayed.
He's been flayed by a man called Douglas.
Oy.
We should probably have a look round. Which one was your room? Where did you stay? If this guy knows who you are, I imagine.
Yes, I'll show you. She'll take him upstairs to like the box room.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is where she used to. That was her bedroom as a child.
Sure. So you can run upstairs. We'll say that there's a bedroom up there. As you go up the staircase and you guys come to the top of it, you hear the door below creaking open.
Did you hear that?
The door below where?
The door from you've just run up to the kind of landing, I guess.
I guess the door opens onto the landing.
Yeah, and then you kind of creaks open, and at the same time, the door to the house from which you entered begins to ease itself open. You hear footsteps coming to the door.
From outside?
Yeah.
Can I rush down and like throw myself up against the wall, like next to the door?
Sure. So, cut scene for a second. Steve, what do you look like?
Well, if I'm allowed to say that I'm exceptionally attractive, we'll start with that.
Sure, I mean,
I'll allow it.
I'll let out.
Yeah.
This one time, okay.
I very rarely
I'm a
play
woman's man.
attractive characters. It frightens me as I don't understand what I can use for source material. But short, black hair, clean shaven, nice pressed suit, black, nice tie, a little small bump maybe slightly visible from a, I don't know, maybe a shoulder holster containing an M1911 semi-automatic pistol in it. That's one of the only guns I could find from around the 1920s era.
1911, there you go.
Beautifully researched. Beautifully
you.
researched.
Yeah, but I'll be like just wearing a nice suit, Bond-esque looking fella.
So you've been informed by Eric to get down here. Eric is British Secret Service. You'd be familiar with who this man is. He's basically a well-dressed gentleman in a suit with some oily hair, black hair, in about his 40s or so. And he's called you down here to the scene of the crime. At this scene, you're in a long street. There are police cars and vehicles all around, and just police basically crawling over the entire place. As you see that they're all kind of fussing over a body, and the press are here, even though it's very late. It's probably coming towards dawn time at this point, more like 5 to 6 a.m. The press are here trying to get the inside scoop. You kind of work your way through the crowds. You spot Eric, who waves at you. Says, "Steve, come here." He bustles you over and lets you onto the kind of the tape, the police tape, and he kind of he just puts a hand on your shoulder and he says, "How are you doing, Steve?"
I'm doing okay, Eric.
Good. Well, you might want to sit down for this. It's not going to be easy to tell you. But as I said on the phone, a girl has been killed, and I have reason to suspect that this might be your sister.
When he says you need to sit down, I don't
Yeah.
do it. I just adjust a cuff.
Yeah.
But then when he does say that it might be my sister, I'll probably like double take, like do a, and then I want to try and work out if he's like playing some sort of really twisted, dark joke on me.
Nah,
just kidding.
Read his face.
banter.
Yeah, like this is some sort of like, you know, some old army joke.
No, he seems to be deadly serious and very concerned as he looks at you.
Then I will stagger a little and then possibly sit down and say, "Sister, how do you know, Eric?"
We've had early identifications from the mortician, and someone here has has said that it might be her, and I looked up the name, and well, Chelsea, she is the name which is suspected here, and based on location, her appearance, I don't want to have to show you exactly what's happened, but I feel like you need to in order to confirm.
Yeah, I'm already moving. I'm on the street, right? You said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going in then.
Yeah.
Screw it.
So, Steve, wait! And you he kind of catches up to you as you come across the body here, and you look at this woman. She is fairly thin, but she's clearly been brutally killed. She's got a kind of beehive of hair which has been kind of cut shorter. There are missing parts from her body. You can tell that organs have been removed. Quick inspection, kidneys, ovaries, lungs, and the heart as well, with some kind of unusual blade. And looking at this, you could say the moment you heard it, you knew, really. And you look down at her, and this only confirms your worst kind of suspicion. The sinking in your heart feeling that something terrible has happened. And the coroner, who is this kind of creepy kind of looking weird dude, he has got this kind of older gentleman wearing full on like mortician's outfit, with a creepy grey comb over, kind of pale and sweaty looking. He says, here to inspect our latest, I see. And Eric gives him this nope.
I sort of try and compose myself to a degree, even though for a moment there's just an instant look of like buckled knees and shock and like a terrible, like almost about to possibly burst into childish tears.
Yeah.
But then I'll compose myself very quickly and turn away from creepy coroner.
Yeah.
And back to Eric, and I'd like to grab him by the scruff, by the cuff of his well-pressed suit, and I'll lean in very close and say, "Mother of God, Eric, who did this?" And then lean in even closer and say, "I mustn't let on that this is my sister."
Of course.
I have a code name.
Yes, of course. Yeah, he understands. He says, "Yeah, of course. Let me promise you, we have got our best on the case. The chief of police, you may have heard, I know it's late, the chief of police, Archibald Sterling, was murdered earlier this night. Same MO. We're thinking it's the same killer and he's on some kind of rampage. I've got my division, my new division." He kind of gives you a kind of look where he says new division, which would suggest like this is unorthodox division of the Secret Service. We're working on this. They're inside the house right now. I can put you on the case, Steve. I know that
They're
this is...
in this house?
That house right there, yes.
This is my sister's house, right?
No, this is not your sister's house. This is Cecily Chadwick's house.
It's Cecily's old house.
Cecily's old house.
This is my former childhood home, yes.
My sister was found in the house?
Your sister was found outside.
Just outside.
But she's the spitting image of me.
Yeah, she looks just like her.
Meta.
Yeah.
All right, so presumably she's not called Chelsea Pterodactyl.
She isn't.
But
Close enough, though. Close enough.
Is that via marriage?
Family code name.
It's like
Is
a
that
couple
via
of
marriage,
letters out.
or is that because I have some sort of other surname that?
Yeah, her surname is Mullins. She is not
that my
married.
family name. Am
That's
I
your
actually Steve Mullins?
Family name.
Okay, so she wasn't married.
She was not
Steve
married.
Pterodactyl.
So a bit of backstory about your sister. She lived on the East End. She never really had much. You didn't speak to her too often. A little bit kind of distant. And as far as you know, she worked in a bar.
Okay.
But it's been a while, like you're an international spy. You're not
Yeah,
having
I assumed I hadn't seen her for a while.
for a while, yeah. However,
I'm also apparently in some sort of witness protection, so
yeah, probably.
high level witness protection. I don't know.
Thank you very much to Wolfman Rip. He donates £5. Says Brad and Will in the same stream. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, like the same. I'm gonna put on some glasses soon, and I will look just like him. But no. So as you look down at her body, you see we'll do like a quick kind of flash, like in any good noir movie. There's a good kind of flash over the screen, and it cuts back in a sepia tone to earlier that day. Earlier that day comes up on the screen, and through this we see Steve. A phone rings at his desk, wherever his desk may be. The phone rings. What do you do, Steve? pick up the phone. Of course, I shut it down. Fuck you.
Eat the phone.
Guys don't answer phones.
I devour it with my tentacles. You pick up the phone,
Pterodactyl.
and a voice. Steve, is that you? It's a woman's voice that you recognise to be your sister's.
I've already forgotten her name.
Chelsea.
Chelsea. I'll say hello, Chelsea. I haven't spoken to you in 6 months.
Yeah. Sorry about that, but listen, I need your help. Real bad. Okay, just meet me later today, all right? Can you meet me like later on somewhere, like the east side?
How much money should I bring this time, Chelsea?
It's not about that. It's not about that at all. Okay.
Fine, east side. I'll see you later.
Great. Thanks. And she hangs up.
Put the
Back
phone down
into-
and immediately forget the phone call's happened and
Yeah.
barely make a note that my sister needs money again.
Yeah. Oh, so that's the kind of a regular occurrence where you say you're going to meet her and you just never do, that sort of thing?
I mean, I probably will go.
Yeah.
But it'll be like a 5-minute drop off of cash. You know,
Right. So,
I'm busy. She's just a barmaid.
right.
I'm an international spy.
Yeah, exactly. And, you're probably very busy that day anyway. I mean, you've got fucking shit to do, And so you're meant to meet her, later this night or tomorrow morning, basically. And unfortunately, she is now dead. So cut back to the kind of one scene. You're kind of looking away from her. Is everything okay, Steve?
I'll turn to Eric and say, I want to know everything you have on this case so far.
Of course.
And also, you should be aware that I was to meet my sister. I fear that, and then I'm going to lean in close again. Could she possibly have been killed because of me? Because of what we do?
We are currently working on all angles right now. Here, take this file. Give it out here. He takes it from a police officer, gives you this dump of file information, which is basically the recap, which we just gave you.
Yeah, so it's a box.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff. I've got like a big old box.
Yeah, a big
Okay.
old box of dirt, box of loot. Hands it to you. Take that. And the others are inside. I would suggest you speak of them. They have, they're experts in this area.
I will glance at the box of files and then I'll put it down and walk into the house.
All right.
I won't even glance at the coroner because he disrespected my sister.
He did.
And I'm carrying a loaded weapon.
Indeed. And thanks to Max Biggie 1982 for following. Welcome, my friend, to the adventure. You're a gentleman and a scholar. In fact, seeing as on the hour, let's check our retweets as well. Because if you guys haven't retweeted at 25, get to decide what happens. Don't worry, the viewer decision will be coming out in a few moments when we cut back to the house. Also, if you haven't followed, hit that follow button and join us. Be sure to catch on to all of our Call of Cthulhu episodes, as well as the previous one, which is on the YouTubes, which you can find down there. Also, giveaway for the D&D start sets. If you want to play some D&D, grab some friends, get together, enter the start set, and get playing.
Looks like we're at 25.
Oh boy, have we?
What? Shut your mouth.
Oh damn. That is good news. Yeah, 25. Perfect. So underneath, in fact, we'll get a viewer decision going in a moment. We'll have it in a few moments. We'll hold that one for a little bit now. Steve walks up to the house and opens the door. At this point, Silas is standing right behind it, pressed up against the wall. As the door opens and Steve enters. So Silas, as you see a man enter into the door, he's wearing a crisp suit, just like an old librarian. Welcome, old librarian, to the adventure. You're a gentleman and a scholar.
That made so much sense.
It did.
That was actually a segue. I've been with you for a long time now. It was
Finally.
Finally you got one. I actually prefer them to be bad.
It's like wearing a pantsuit, old lady pantsuit. Steve Pterodactyl, how are you? What are you doing with that fuchsia pantsuit? Are those shoulder pads? Yeah. So what?
Did you say fuchsia pantsuit?
Yeah, I did.
He did.
Is
That's
Steve Pterodactyl wearing a fuchsia pantsuit?
That's the real horror here.
I mean, he's a
I mean-
spy. They all do, don't they?
I mean, it depends on what I'm.
I agree with the power shoulders, but not.
Power shoulder.
All right.
Oh my
So, all right. So, Silas, as this man enters the door, What are you doing?
Yeah, so I definitely I guess at this point we didn't realize that the police were sort of congregating outside.
Yeah.
And in a large quantity. We were the first people on the scene, really.
Yes.
So when he walks through the door, he'll kind of take a couple steps through, and I'll just kind of like you feel kind of like something pressed against your neck as Silas is just sort of holding his knife there. He says, "Who are you?"
Can I do some sort of wild spin and fire a weapon, pull a weapon on him, and literally fire it at him because I'm immediately assuming this is the murderer?
Yeah, sure.
I
Sure.
don't know how else to deal with this. I am so sorry.
No, that makes perfect sense. The PvP.
Yeah, just
So
some crazy spit and fire.
I mean, yeah. I'm
So, yeah.
him or just
I am a super trained spy. Let me look at my character.
So you're going to roll for me under investigator skills on the left-hand column. There is one which reads firearms, and you should have.
special training.
While he's doing that, can I use either my brawling or my firearms to block it?
You've got
Yeah.
a knife in my neck. So
Shoot his bullet out of the air.
I need
Both
to do
both roll me a firearms RS for me.
Okay.
And lower is good in this game, so don't worry about what it all says. I'll tell you if you did well or bad. Just click the button and it works.
Both of us.
Both of you, so it'll be opposed.
Okay.
Crazy 360 no scope.
So I'm just rolling it. Yeah.
Just goes, yep, just click the button, it should work.
Great.
And I didn't do well.
Boy, oh boy, Steve Pterodactyl rolled a 4, which is great.
my
And
God.
Solus rolled a 53, which is
I
bad.
could kill them.
So basically, Steve Pterodactyl spins on the spot as a knife goes to his throat, and he fires down into the leg of Solus Black. Solus.
And I want to kick him if I can.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Now we're at this point. If I've disarmed him and I've fired into his leg, I want to kick him away from me and then bring the gun up and point it at his head without killing him.
Perfect. So, Solus, you're going to take 5 damage as you get kind of blasted by this gun in the leg, and you go down, taking some wounds. And
Sorry, Askren.
your knife is kicked away from you, and you find yourself with a very dapper-looking gentleman with a gun,
Flexing his cuffling.
flexing his cufflinks, looking down at you.
Switch the gun hand. Yeah, if he's got the gun to my head, I'm just sort of staring up at him I'm not afraid at all.
Yeah. A gun goes off downstairs. Angus, George, and Cecily.
I
Leslie's gonna jump out of her skin. Sorry, go on.
I immediately spin round because do you carry a gun, Angus?
Yes.
But
Sorry,
you're
I
in
forgot
front-
Angus was.
You're in front of me, and I don't think any of us I've seen carrying guns.
Yeah, he probably has a gun.
I spin on the spot and kind of run to the stairs. And if this man with a gun is anywhere at the bottom of the stairs visible, I'm just going to launch myself off at him like a bullet.
Oh my god.
So you
What have
see,
I done?
George.
You'd probably see me at the bottom of the stairs, down on one.
yeah.
knee.
So you look at the scene where Silas has been shot. Clearly, he's clutching onto his wound or his leg. He's down. There's a very dapper-looking gentleman with a gun who's just shot him after he has a knife in his hand.
I would definitely be shouting and questioning at him who he is,
Yeah. So you hear the man shout "Who are you? What are you doing here?" That sort of thing as you could begin to kind of see the scene. So you're gonna just leap straight at the guy.
Okay, so maybe if he's talking, I'm like, what the fuck do you think you're doing?
I will look to my right. The thing is, I don't know how you look and how you guys are dressed.
Yeah, let's do some visual descriptions. So
And we should do
Silas,
some kind of
Solus is I would use a visual metaphor for him, but I'm not going to. He has really tattered and kind of ratty clothing because he's basically been locked up in a convent or a monastery for the last 10 years.
Okay.
So he has,
Now I feel even worse.
yeah, he has really ratty clothing that's kind of torn and frayed a little bit, and long black, kind of matted and greasy hair, beard.
Really not helping your case.
I know. No, he does not look like a guy you would see just walking down the street.
Yeah, I straight up think he's the murderer who's been hiding in a cupboard.
Yeah.
And whatever team is in here, who are probably coming running down the stairs at me, have completely missed him.
yeah, he's
Like,
probably
on his way out. out.
He's probably been hiding in a cupboard like a pregnant chipmunk. Welcome, my friend, to the adventure. You're
As they do.
a gentle chipmunk and a scholar. If you guys don't know, chipmunks are well known.
That's totally how they hide.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cupboards is where they give birth.
Only the pregnant ones.
They only hide in the cupboards when they're pregnant.
So, George, what do you look like?
So I've got a fairly my hair is a little bit it once would have been smart, and it's kind of it looks like I've once had an army haircut that was combed back and everything, but it's a little bit scruffy now. I'm wearing kind of a scruffy coat and jacket, which is done up, and then I've got what once looked like okay trousers, but like one of the knees has been put out, and I'm just a bit. I look like I've tried at some point and then I couldn't be asked, so I just put on the same dirty clothes every couple of days.
Nice.
And you two are special agents.
Yep.
I'm a war hero, sir.
Okay.
The way
Cecily.
you just said that.
Cecily, what do you look like?
Well, I
just
look
expected
a
you all
lot.
to be in suits and Cecily to just be in like some same like woman's pantsuit type thing, 1920s. I don't know.
Yeah.
She's not wearing a woman's pantsuit. She's the spitting image of your sister.
Yeah.
Yep.
A
She
little bit
probably looks
old,
more like the librarian.
slightly older. She's got a bird's nest haircut. She's got I don't know. She seems to be quite liberated for a lady. So yeah, okay, I guess a pantsuit at this point. No power shoulders though. She's got like a long.
Not yet. You have to
Not
unlock
until the
those.
80s. Yeah, a long sort of coat with some kind of wide leg trousers that make it look like a skirt, but obviously she has the comfort of knowing it's trousers.
Very
I'm wearing
nice.
the exact same thing.
Oh yeah,
Identical.
we're like
Two shirts.
fashion twins. Yeah.
And so, Angus, you basically look like Sean Connery and James
Came
Bond.
out
Right?
of my closet.
Yeah, I look like this dude.
That's what you look like.
This guy.
But he arrives on the scene with a pistol
Missing
and his glass of scotch.
He just raises an eyebrow.
his,
and
glass
looks
of
at
bourbon,
me
actually.
immediately.
And he's
But you three look better than Silas or not? Possibly.
Far better.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
yes.
They look much better than him.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So, like, I mean, the thing is, as soon as I realize that they are coming down the stairs, I know that there's a team in here, and I hear multiple footsteps.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna, with my gun still to this murderer's head who killed my sister
And him staring daggers.
brutally, and I'm like 99% sure this is definitely him because he randomly pulled a knife on me while
Yeah.
there was police everywhere. I turn to them and I'll do the I'm a special agent, and I'm just like panicking that they're gonna shoot me.
Yeah, at this point,
Holding this gun to.
yeah. At this point, police burst into the room having heard a gunshot. A bunch of them, like, just Bowie's kind of coming. What's going on here?
Do I have a thing?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. They look at it.
One hand.
Wallet.
slowly, like,
You got a
arm
one-hand
out.
thing.
I'll do a little.
The old one too.
And there's the little thing. Special
You've
agent.
opened it at the wrong page. There's a library card.
Yeah, it's just a Nando's card.
Cheeky Nando's for the lads.
Yeah. So can I do that? Can I
yeah,
like,
yeah.
try and show to them all? And
Yeah, you show it them. They're like, oh, do you need any help, sir?
Is this prick one of yours?
Think he might be one of yours.
Just fucking shot Solace. Hey, Solace, are you right?
I'll live.
I don't understand. He pulled a knife on me.
Eric comes through. Are you going to live, Solace?
Live. What
Will you
kind
be
of a
alright?
question
Get
is that?
Well,
You're
if he's
gonna, you're gonna stop bleeding out on me now.
I'll look down at this wretch in front of me, covered in his own blood and grease, and just lower my gun slowly.
What a
And
noob.
realization dawns over me. I'm like, he's one of yours?
yeah, like I said, the team are in here investigating.
What the hell is happening down here?
What on earth is going on?
Clop down the stairs.
I presume he's still got a knife in his hand, right? He just looks like a crazy murderer, surely.
I think you said you disarmed him. You wanted to kick the knife away from his hand a bit so he couldn't leap up
Alright,
and
I'm
kill
gonna,
you.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
back up,
Yeah.
and like arms up, and I'll do like a. He pulled a knife on me, and I'll look down at him, and I'll be like, terribly sorry, old chap.
He'll just sort of like rise back, because he's down on one knee. He'll kind of rise to his full height, grimace a little bit, and say, "It's fine.
bullet in leg. He's fine. What a forgiving
Tis
dude.
but a scratch.
Yeah.
We'll have
Yeah.
someone look at this and
Maybe it was just a glancing shot. That
yeah,
just,
yeah.
No, I'm assuming he's got like a hole like right in his thigh, but it
Leg's
hurts a lot.
gone.
But he's pretty into self-flagellation, so he's
Self-flagellation, yeah. We
been
all
through some pain.
I deserve this.
Eric says, Withers, come in here, have a look at him, and your kind of, medical team kind of comes in and starts having having a look at you. They start filing reports. There's a fuckload of paperwork which
He
happens.
just kind of waves them off. He says, later. Who are you? What are you doing?
All right, everyone who is not Omega level clearance, get out of here right now. And for all the police, they bumble off.
I start walking out as well.
Are we a mega
No.
level clearance?
He like stops. You stay. Like,
No, I'll sort of like, if there's a safety on these 1910 guns, I don't know. I will
I
safely
think there is.
put it back.
yeah.
I don't know much about guns because I'm actually from London.
Yep.
No idea.
Let them hear you say that.
I
Don't
very quickly looked up what guns came out around 1910 and found
What
the name
is
of one.
a gun?
Oh, one of the guns.
Yeah. What am a gun?
One of the guns that came out was a Steve 1331. Welcome, Steve, to the adventure, gentleman and scholar.
Rogue gun.
All right, we need to calm down here, guys. We're getting carried away. Let's chill out for a moment.
So
Let's get
I'll
back into it.
holster my gun, and look across everyone and say, I thought this man was the murderer. He came at me with a knife. I'm terribly sorry. Please.
You walked into an active crime scene investigation.
Yes, I thought that you would have known that I'm terribly sorry. I think you thought what I thought, and I thought what you thought.
Right. What are you here for?
The suspect is my sister.
The suspect is your sister.
The
victim, I suppose.
The victim is my sister, and I'm so confused by the fact that I'm stood in front of my sister that I mess up all my words, and I'm just like looking at Cecily
Are you
in not
okay?
much of a leery way, just like a what the fuck.
What's your
way.
name?
The name's Pterodactyl, Steve Pterodactyl.
My name's Cecily Chadwick. Pleased to meet you. Are you all right?
Chadwick.
Cecily Chadwick, yes.
Do I have a photo of my sister? Do I
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
she looked like?
Yeah, sure, you have like a locket or just a picture on your wallet.
Pull it out. I'll say, remarkable. I'll like hold it up to look myself.
And she'll try to look at what you're holding up next to her face.
I'll turn it round and say, you look exactly like my sister.
Stephen, your sister, is that the woman outside?
Hmm.
I'm so terribly sorry.
Thank you.
She's going to hold his hand in like a really sort of genuine grasp. Say, I'm so sorry. I am
I'll
so
take it.
sorry.
I still look confused, but I thank her and then let go. This is just
It's very strange because I'm not sure if you've noticed.
yeah, remarkable. And then the thing is, I'll like shake it off for a moment because I'm guessing as well I'm somewhat in shock. So I'm gonna like look across each of you and say, what do you know of what happened? Apparently you've been on the case.
Cecily will not speak throughout the entire thing. She won't speak.
This is the second body we found tonight in the same state. The first one was a more high profile. He was a police commissioner.
Killed in the same way.
Give or take. We don't know much about the scene where she was murdered. We know she was brought here after the fact.
I'll-
So the
I'll
police
kind of-
commissioner and then my sister.
Yeah. Only linking factor seems to be the weapon used, and The fact that some of the organs, different ones, seem to have been taken, some of which may have been cannibalized. You have experience with this.
The only experience I have is of spanking my tater. Welcome to the adventure, my friend. You're a
What?
gentleman and a scholar. Don't question it. Just accept
You all
it.
needed to know that, I think.
Just let me
Spank my taser.
just let me
Okay.
spank it. Let it happen, guys.
I'll go. Steve.
What's up,
Uh,
Skank?
What's up, Spank? Okay.
Spanky?
Steve. You look like quite a well-off man.
I like your style.
Your sister. What did she do for a living?
I enlisted into the British Special Service, you see. My sister was just a barmaid.
Have you spoken to her much, like before?
We're from fairly humble beginnings, but I haven't spoken to her for a few months. That isn't until today. She actually called me a few hours ago. We'd planned to meet tomorrow, was it, Will?
Yeah, tomorrow morning. I guess this morning, really.
She called you. Did she say why?
She seemed... Now that I think about it, I'm concerned that she was being harassed or something.
I mean, like, you've already had a pretty bad day, but she may have been a street worker.
Please. I know. I don't know if I know, Will.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna pretend
Either
that I
way,
do.
you
Either
know.
way,
yeah, it's fine.
because she's always asking me for money.
yeah.
And there ain't much work on the street other than
Yeah.
street working. So yeah, I'll look and say, I suspected as much. I actually thought that she just wanted money. Every now and then, we would catch up, and she would sometimes ask that I lend her some money, but I'd assumed the same thing today, to be honest.
You know anything about who she knew, who she met with? Did she say why she wanted to meet you?
Will?
She didn't. She said, just come.
I mean, do I know anything? Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, I'll just say she just told me to meet her again. I mean, she didn't sound like super like it was like emergency.
She sounded worried, but she didn't seem like it was necessarily like life or death between, I guess.
She wasn't like in the room with the geezer with a knife to her throat.
Didn't seem
It
like
was
that
more
way.
Like, yeah, so I'll say, I now that I think of it, I'm concerned she was being pressed about something, but it didn't seem life or death at the time.
And what of the landing that you went up to investigate? Anything up there?
Well, we heard you get shot, so we, like, he probably would have killed you if not. So, like,
Again, terribly just sorry, old chap.
well, and I leaned in. I was like, I was pretty tempted shooting the first time I saw him as well. You get used to it.
Eric says, now listen, seeing as everything's been ironed out, I suggest you search the premises. We're taking away the body now for further examination, and of course the taxi cab driver Smitty is also outside awaiting questioning should you so wish. I'll leave you to it then. And he kind of just like knocks on the door for good luck. See you soon. Heads outside.
Shall I handle the questioning and you investigate the house?
That sounds good. I'd rather stay here in the house.
But, let me know if you find anything. As he kind of he walks to the door, he grabs his knife off the floor, kind of stuffs it back under his ratty clothing, and picks up his very large book and just kind of clutches it to his chest.
Nice. Okay. So the rest of you are investigating. Tell me, where else are you guys going? We'll go to Angus, Cecily, Steve, and George. So there's the landing up above, well as her bedroom, and then we've already investigated the kitchen, and then there are two other rooms which look like bedrooms. So you going back up to the landing? What's the plan?
I presume I just only see this room at the moment. Is this the room?
Yeah, you're in the hallway right now. The hallway runs down 2 doors on the left, kitchen at the end, portrait on the right-hand side of the wall, staircase running up the right-hand side, leading up to the bedroom.
I feel like I was on the staircase
Sure.
as this whole thing was happening. So I'm going to be like, well, anyway, and then like, cheers. And then I'm going to go upstairs and keep looking in the bedroom.
I'm
Okay.
going to stick with Angus because I draw similarities to him.
Yeah.
And Cecily sort of freaks me out a little bit. I shot one of the other
I do
men.
that for everyone, honestly.
The other dude.
I'll stick with Cecily.
Okay. So, looking up this in the landing bedroom, I suppose. You open into a room with a single bed and a bookcase. There's some open books out on the bed itself, which looks like it hasn't been made in a very long time. Very, very messy. And there is also a woman's dress, which is lying on the bed, which is kind of floral,
Hello.
slightly yellow, with some nice print on it. Yeah, that is what you see in the room. There's also a bookcase which have all different types of books on it, and a strange looking like figurine, I suppose, which looks like it's from not around here. It looks very exotic to you. You can have more of an investigate into that if you want, but that's the first glance around the room that you have. So what are you guys looking into further?
I'm going to check the dresser.
Oh, thanks so much to Pregnant Chipmunk, brother. Donates £30, supporting the stream from Seattle, Washington. Love it, you guys. That's very, very generous of you, Pregnant Chipmunk.
Thank you for your support.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That really means a lot to us. Really.
Anything you want to do with that? Any way you want to make us suffer?
Yeah, you can make the player suffer. You can look down below underneath donate and see different ways that you can make that happen. Big love. Sorry, what was the question, Angus? You asked me something.
I'm going to check the dresser.
You're going to check the dresser. So, yeah, you have a look. This is about where the dress is. You can see that it's a women's dress, probably, well, obviously, rather than a man's dress. But it's probably for a like an old lady. It's not like low cut or anything. Thanks so much to Hey, I'm Howler for following. Welcome, my friend. To the adventure, you're a gentleman and a scholar, but it doesn't look particularly like youthful, I suppose. It looks kind of old and kind of worn. At the bookcase, there is this figurine on here, and as you look at it, it seems to be the figure of some kind of big fish, and it's made in some kind of strange gold. But the gold, when you look at it, doesn't seem like quite normal gold. It's almost got like a whitish tinge to it. Yeah. That's it seems slightly odd. If you look at it, it probably looks like it's fairly heavy, but you can pick it up if you want to examine it further, I guess.
Sure, I'll pick up the mithril fish.
The mithril fish is pretty heavy in your hand. You kind of bring it up, and you feel this movement from the bookcase as you do. It's almost like a low rumbling, and the dust and cobwebs from it begin to kind of yawn backwards in a stretching kind of ease as it goes to move across and slide across into a chamber which leads downwards into a undiscovered part of this room, and you're holding it in your hand still, this item.
Have you seen anything like this, Mr. Pterodactyl?
I'm like just shocked at this point. This is the weirdest day of my life.
Shall I get weird?
No, I haven't. You suspect this is the killer's house? My sister didn't live here.
I'm not sure. Let's go get Cecily. This is her home, so maybe she knows where this goes.
And I kind of like, I down the rest of my drink and I slam it on the dresser.
I'll draw my gun and stand by the door and wait, and I'll just give him a little nod.
I slam it where the fish was, and then I bring the fish downstairs
Sure.
to Cecily.
Sure. So they're still downstairs. What do you say to George and Cecily?
So we were upstairs. Do you know what this is, Cecily?
And I kind of hold up this golden white fish.
Roll me an occult, Cecily, as you have a look at this.
Of course.
It's the best skill.
My amazing skill ever. Right, let me just
Scowl.
find
Scowls.
Scowl.
Yes.
Scowl batch.
Let me know where you roll here. I'll have a look.
Oh, there it is. Yes, there we go. Whoop.
So it's a 3 out of 70. This is an extreme success. This is an artifact unlike any which you've seen yourself in person. However, you have read plenty on it back in your library at the Secret Service. This is not, in fact, regular gold. It's got some other material to it, which you're not sure what it is. And there's been a lot of studies as to finding out what this other material is. It's also the whitish tint to it suggests an otherworldly component. A material which is not created upon Earth is the belief that this gold is made. To, investigators.
Like a meteorite or something.
Like a meteorite or something which is just created on another planet, which otherworldly beings have brought here to Earth. You also know that these types of statues are very popular in the Africas and across that continent. And in fact, I'll give it 2 out of 3 because it's so good. You'd know that particularly this would be in the area of Congo, would be a particular kind of area of interest for artifacts like this.
Congo. It's funny you should mention that. Okay, so she looks at this fish and she says, "Yes, it's from the Congo. You understand? It's not just made of gold. It's kind of combined with." This otherworldly... We haven't really decided on a name, really. I don't believe anyone's really...
Cribbit like ivory.
As rare, but not as... It's not really from this... Forgive me. It's not really from this planet. It's not from here. It's not around...
It's not from Earth.
No. It makes the gold extra sparkly. It makes it extra precious. Do you understand? It's really hard for me to explain it to you.
Is it vibranium?
Vibranium.
It's unobtainium.
Unobtainium.
Unobtainium is the best name.
She tries to explain. That it's really. She tries to explain that it's really rare, and they haven't really found it on Earth.
Yeah.
Yet. And that it's.
Oh, they have found. Yeah, they haven't found the component itself, but they have found similar statues like this around the Congolese
Would I
areas.
know about any of this? Because I feel
You
like
have no idea. No fucking clue, Angus.
So Angus is like,
The hell? How do you know any of this? Right. Well, anyway, I picked this up upstairs, and there's
Okay.
a passage that opened up.
I've picked this up on my travels from a very long time ago. It's really hard for me to try to explain to you where it's from.
Yes. Well, I have it, but also a passage opened up upstairs.
No such
passage.
thing ever existed in Cecily's knowledge.
What?
Come on, follow. George, come on. And how's your leg, Silas? Can you walk upstairs?
No, he went outside to interview the dude.
Yeah, we'll get
Silas.
all right,
He'll be fine. He's moaning about his leg anyway.
All right. Well, sure.
Okay.
Upstairs.
So the group of you you head up the staircase and you come to the bedroom again, and you do indeed see the moved bookcase, which leads down into a flight of stairs. Who's going first down this flight of stairs? It's very dark down here. Again, the only lights which you have are flashlights at this point.
Wait, I have not seen this. Out of character. I've not seen this
Nope.
before.
Never existed.
What is this? How did you find this? How is this in my house?
I just took the fish off the dresser here, right off the shelf.
I used to play with the fish as a child. Where's this come from?
Right here.
and I move the glass from where I put
Yeah.
it, and I match it up with the dust ring that has settled around of where it sat.
So it's right there.
Okay. Well, considering what's happened so far, I should probably not read too much into this. We should probably go and investigate. This is our job, after all.
Okay, so looking down in the corridor, I'm assuming maybe Angus is going first as a kind of bloke in charge here, or is it going to be Steve with him?
I've already gone.
The-
I've already gone
Oh, he's
down.
already gone.
Steve's gone down. So
The
Upstairs and he's gone.
moment Angus left, I went down there.
go downstairs.
No
Yes.
one, no one has told me that these are like X-Files-esque
Yeah, no.
investigations.
That's true.
No, you have no idea.
And I'm just a spy that normally does stuff by myself anyway, so like no one's told me that Cthulhu's down
solo.
there. I was just
I know
like
the word
going
solo.
down there, gun drawn.
Yep.
Sweet.
Perfect. You, as you two come down here, you find Steve standing down here with his gun drawn. There's a smell of salt through the air and like dead fish, but there's no fish or any source of water around in the room. It just stinks like a place which has not been washed in years. There are also around this room, in each four corner, there is an occult symbol. The same symbol which we have seen before, the triangle with a circle throughout it. Some kind of arcane or occult symbol which we have not yet managed to decipher or understand what that is. You also see this kind of shrine in the center of this room. And in the center, there's almost like a basin. And on the basin there are pictures, which I imagine Steve is kind of rifling for at this point and looking at. And you see kind of childlike drawings of different people, and they each have some very distinctive appearances. For instance, you look at one of them, and you can tell it's the spitting image of George. It's done in a childlike scrawl, so it's not well performed, but you can see that the hat is there and his form is there, and there are similar ones for each and every one of you, including Steve. And each of you has a childlike drawing through here. There also is a very large book on the shrine, which looks ancient and pretty old, like an old log. Like an old log book, I suppose, rather, in here. And atop the book is a knife. Now, the knife is of a very strange design. It's something that you would never have seen before, and as you have like some kind of speciality in this field, in which case you think you do, you can have a roll on it. However, most of you would have no idea where this knife would be from. It's got very kind of strange circular designs and curves and twists to it. And a few spikes as well. This item looks like it could be thrown, the weight to it. And in fact, the only person I would let roll on this would be Cecily, because she is a historian. So Cecily, I would let you roll a history check on this one.
Okay, let's have a look then.
I'll let you know what... You said the pictures were on the wall, or like...
The pictures are kind of on the altar, on the kind of shrine, just scattered here individually, next to the book with the knife on top of it. The arcane symbols are on each wall around here. She failed a history check, so Cecily, you can't decipher the area in which this blade might be found, or... anything to do with it, really. You don't even know if it's of this world. It could be otherworldly.
I guess I'm a bit kind of taken aback by everything that's going on at the moment. She's kind of in shock by the lady outside, who looks exactly like her, meeting her supposed brother.
Yeah.
A passage that wasn't entirely in her full knowledge.
Not at all.
She's absolutely screwed. Thanks, chat.
In fact, also at this point, underneath this line in chat, guys, I have a second viewer decision. Another detail about this room, which is creepy and weird, would be great, actually. I should have thought about that earlier. But, yeah, give us another detail which could be in this room, which is either a clue or a red herring or just something fucking weird. And throw out your ideas.
Something fucking weird.
And, yeah, that's basically the best idea. We did the last viewer decision, yep. The dress is still back in the bedroom, on the bed, currently. So you guys are down in the shrine kind of area. What are you guys doing in here?
Can I turn to them and just literally look like I've already lost all my sanity points and just say...
Yeah, in fact, everybody roll me an insanity check. Thanks for reminding me.
Oh my god. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks.
Some brother you are.
Well, I'm going to turn around and say, how is this possible? And then apparently we're all going to go completely insane.
Now, give him that sand roll. You want to roll low. George Bullard succeeds. Cecily Chadwick succeeds.
Oh, syntax.
Steve Pterodactyl fails gigantically.
Can't I do it?
Let me.
Nothing makes sense to me from
Check
start to finish.
Yeah.
I'm asleep right now.
You need to put in your current, which is 60, Angus. So roll it now.
Ah, thank you.
No worries, buddy. Let me go to get there. 58, so that's just a success for Angus. However, our good friend Steve looks back at you with a madness in his eyes, which is the same look that you've seen. It's almost like, you know when Gandalf dies in The Lord of the Rings and Frodo looks back at him with that look of like utter heartbreak and confusion and just lack of understanding of everything which happened? Picture that, but with more madness in his eyes and more kind of just lack of comprehension. Pregnant Chipmunk donates £13, says, "This is super good. Please take all my money." Sure.
Okay.
All
Do you want to do anything with that money? You can buy stuff. Scroll down to the-
They did give us the dress, which has a different quality to the dress. Very much. That's very, very generous of you. Yeah, that is. I think, guys, what you're looking at. And Steve, I'm going to take your insanity down. You failed by a fair amount, my friend, but we're going to take you down to 20 sanity. So you've gone down a half. So at this point, Steve, you are experiencing a situation which you have never experienced before as an agent. You've been trained, you've been psychologically tortured, physically tortured before in training. But this is something so otherworldly. As you look around you at these arcane symbols, you can tell that this is something simply not meant for mortal comprehension. You're looking at something which your mind can't get its your mind around and just cannot perceive and cannot understand. Your heart begins racing. Your skin is sweaty. You're breathing very quickly and very shallowly, almost hyperventilating at this point. And a fun thing is when you fail an insanity check, I can get to control your character to do an action, which is really fun. So you're holding these before you, and you're just we see Steve just take one of these portraits, and it's the portrait of himself, and he just sticks it to one of the arcane symbols up on the wall, and he looks back at you, and for a moment he just doesn't understand why he did that.
I don't understand what's going on here. I'm looking at these pictures and the runes and Cecily. I don't understand how any of this is even possible. What is this place, this room? I suspect them. Am I going to be freaked out by them?
You're certainly feeling all sorts of things running through your head right now. Paranoia, fear, a crushing desire to be away from this place.
Yeah, I've got the sort of shaky...
The jitters,
alcoholic
yeah,
hands
definitely.
going on.
Can I try and spot this? I've been in war and I've seen like a shell-shocked soldier.
Yeah, he looks like he's suffering right now.
I'll kind of walk up to him, put my hand on his shoulder and try and shake him. Steve, do you hear me? Are you okay?
I want to say that makes me feel 20 sane better. 20 sanity points better. But I don't know.
So you're going to go out to him and you're just going to kind of like start looking. You look at his eyes. His eyes can't follow you. Like, his eyes are away from this place. You know, if someone's in shock, basically, they're just not, like, focusing on anything. And so he's looking around. His eyes are jumping everywhere. You can't keep his focus. You would know some kind of procedure that you might attempt to bring him back.
I'll give him a big old callous hand slap across the chops.
Sure. Roll me a medicine check. And I'll give you a bonus for this one because you are...
First aid check, is that?
Let me check. Is it first aid or medicine in this one? Yeah, first aid. Give me first aid. Yeah, medicine is more looking at their shit. So a
17, the perfect number.
17, the perfect one, and yeah, you do only have one in medicine. No, you should have rolled first aid. It's cool, but you would have succeeded if it was first aid with the bonus that I gave you. So yeah, you slap him round in the face, and Steve, you kind of just come back to your senses for a moment.
There'll be a moment where I kind of grasp at George. I'll grab him, but then I'll let go and I'll calmly step back, dust myself off a little bit, adjust the cuff, and then look at George and ask, "Can you explain what's happening here? I seem to be out of my depth, even with all my extensive training."
I'm not really the book one, but there's like other things in this world that like are worse than us, and like the things I've seen as a soldier don't come anywhere near to all this stuff. Okay, Cecily is she's kind of been through this before, and like it takes a while to get used to it. I've seen that look in your eyes, and like I know, and I give him the nod just to kind of give him a bit of quiet dignity. You feeling like that again? Just come and see George, and I'll set you right. Okay, I'm sorry I had to hit you. And I'll call Cecily over. Cecily,
What's
like,
wrong?
you're better. Like, what? Tell him about what we do. What we're here to do.
Well, am I talking to Steve at this point?
Yeah.
Steve, I guess, has Omega passage into the
Yeah, he has clearance.
quarantine. Yeah. Steve. Steve Pterodactyl. Captain Pterodactyl.
Pterodactyl pet.
Mullins. Was it Mullins?
Steve Pterodactyl Mullins.
Mullins.
Yes. Steve, it's very difficult to explain. However, I don't believe in current circumstances it really is. We look into matters that don't really make sense. Things like paranormal activity, unexplained events.
The occult.
She kind of looks at you like, yes, the occult, yes. I've written many books about my experiences, and as you're aware, we all work with Eric. I'm sure you know him yourself, and we kind of investigate things that cannot really be explained other than by otherworldly means.
You're talking about mysticism and magic and ghosts.
Yes, in a way, yes. You word it as mysticism and magic. However, it's really happening, and there's no other word to describe it.
I'll look around the room. I'll look at the pictures that have got these weird pictures of all of us and all these runes and how weird I feel. And I'm going to say I'm going to 50-50 believe her for now, and I'll just I won't do much about it. I'll just sort of like
As someone who looks like your dead sister, I totally understand.
I'll like look around this group of weird people, and then I'll just kind of nod and okay, then now.
At this point, we're going to cut back to Askren, so we don't leave him all alone in the zone for too long. So Askren, Solace, you're outside, and you're going to be chatting to the taxi cab driver, whose name is John Smitty Smith. And he is a bit of a Weasley-looking fella. He drives a big old cab around, one of the only cabs around, really. And there's two officers that kind of part as you come in here to chat to him. So go ahead.
Right. So is he kind of he's sort of tied a cloth around, like a tourniquet kind of cloth around his leg.
Yeah.
And walks over. He says, "So they say you're the one who found the body?"
Hey, did I get you too? Looks at your leg. Is that because of the guy? Did he?
Not important. What? I need to know what you saw, what you found.
Okay, I'll tell you again. Guy came up, once travelled to Evangeline Street. I say, okay, fine. He says, no questions asked, I'll pay extra. I say, I never ask questions no ways. He paid me double, a lot of money that. And, it sounded like he was one of them rich folks from the west side. And, I drove him there. And he had a big old trunk with him. Big trunk, like a travel trunk. The kind you could fit all sorts in. If you're going on a travel abroad or something like that.
His face.
I never caught no sight of his face. It was, dark, and he said no questions. So, I didn't ask. I just saw his face, shadowed, and there was moonlight.
What did you say? What can you tell me?
He was
a man, definitely.
definitely a man.
Jaw.
Definitely a man.
Round.
Square. I'd say jawline, but quite thin. He didn't seem like the biggest chap, but he carried that trunk around like it was nothing. So must have been quite a big lad, I guess.
His accent.
Like I
Foreign.
west side of town, London, from round here, but not this side of the city.
Right. And
I've done stranger things for folks at dead of night. Asking for no questions. It isn't particularly weird.
you left him after you arrived.
I drove away, back home to my wife and kids.
Did you see the trunk?
No. Well, I got a look at it. Big thing. Tossed it in the back.
Designs on it, markings, stamps, stickers.
Ooh. I guess it had the stickers on it and stamps as if you travelled lots of places. When you go to a different place, you might get a different stamp or a sticker. You put it on your travel trunk. It looks like he'd been a fair bouts, been around the world a bit. Seemed like a man about the place.
Right. His voice, loud, deep, nasally, high pitched.
Well spoken. Well spoken. West side. A little bit nasal, I guess. But it was late and it was cold, so.
And he paid well.
He had plenty of money on him.
Where did you pick him up?
From the station, which is, about 4 or 5 blocks down. It was only a short ride, really.
Do I know which state? Like, is it just a?
It's like one of the only ones in the area. Basically, it would be his. I have the name of it somewhere. John Lee Automobile Engineers is the name of the company which he works for.
Okay, no, the station that he picked him up at, it's just like a train station.
No, it would be he was referring to like the taxi cab station. So he's referring to the HQ where you'd go and then.
So he he'd have to have walked there, like.
He'd have to walk to the cab, and then taken him there. So it's not like he needs to be picked up so much as he needs to get somewhere quickly.
Okay, so he'd have to walk to the cab station and then take the cab wherever he wants.
Yep.
It's not like a train station. Okay. I'm gonna is Eric or the officer in charge around?
Eric's around. Yeah.
Right. I want to walk over to him, just still kind of clutching my book. I say, you have a profile on the and anyone who may have worked with or knew the police chief.
Yes, we're currently working on all those leads. He kind of like runs his hands through his eyes and across his head. He's clearly stressed as all hell. He's been up all night, poor guy. He says, "Yes, I've got that in the report somewhere, a list of names that you can speak to, but it's not set as a priority order of the second kill, unfortunately."
I believe it may have been the same man, tall, thin, rich.
Right.
Clearly a friend of the police chief.
Hmm.
Put together a description and cross-reference them with anyone in the house may know that matches that description.
Of course, I'll have that done immediately. Have that drawn up by one of our artists and send it off around the house. Get some looks for you. Also, don't forget that Milton is still under arrest. You've only got a few hours of daylight, the rest of the day to go and interrogate him, charge him, or release him. Otherwise, we have to let him go.
we'll be back to the station in the morning to do that.
Don't forget your press conference either. Remind the others. First thing this morning, you've got... He checks his watch. You've got about 2.5 hours before the press conference. First thing this morning, the press are going to be all over you.
I'll inform them.
Of course. Very good.
I kind of turn from him like before he even finishes and start making my way back
Sure.
into the house.
So, cut to Silas coming back down into the shrine room where you guys are, looking around at all this occult stuff, and Steve's been calmed down, but a group of them are around the shrine where this ritual knife is, and this kind of logbook is sitting on the shrine around with the occult symbols. So, what are you guys doing in the shrine room in particular?
I'm waiting for them to take the lead.
I'll pull down the picture of me and I'll have a good look at it.
Yeah, looks a bit like you. I mean, looks like a child drew it. It's got your general features around,
This one kind of looks like me. Have you seen it? And I'll go around and just kind of flash it to them.
Well, let's just say that it kind of does. Cecily, do you know anything about this?
In fact, Cecily, can we quickly have you roll a magic item for me?
Yes. How
Thanks
would I roll
to
that?
Pregnant. Chipmunk, can you roll me a quick just D100?
Roll D100.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. There you go. It's 87.
87. Okay, let's go. Okay, so you find as you're kind of searching around the shrine area, underneath some of these pictures of you, there is a vial. And in the vial there is a dark blue liquid. The ingredients of which you are very unsure of. You got to give it a little sniff. Rather, it smells kind of acrid. It assaults your nostrils. It's not a pleasant smell.
She sniffs and she goes, "Oh, gosh. Oh no. That's not pleasant. That is not nice. Wow."
So what are the rest of you doing? As Cecily's checking this out, and also Highland last donate £5 equivalent of inspiration for the players. Thank you very much, Highland. That's very generous of you. You guys are gonna have we'll give you advantage on these rolls. So you can re-roll if you do shit, basically.
Thank you.
Very generous. So is anyone investigating the knife or the book at this point? The only two things which you haven't been looked at in the room yet.
I will be looking at the book.
Okay. So we'll just go with Angus of the knife, seeing as it's on top of the book. So Angus, you take the knife.
Yes.
You see, it's got. Let me quickly look this up for a second here, because I'm all over the place. Yeah, you see that this knife is very strange. You've been a military man, and you haven't seen a knife like this, which is definitely unusual. Like I say, it looks like it's probably throwable in that the weight to it doesn't seem...
It's perfectly balanced. I think it's a throwing knife of some sort.
Exactly. And its origin is clearly exotic. It has one kind of long, shaft of blades, and then there are two almost like semi-crescent moons which come around it at the top of the blade to form a kind of throwable, almost like boomerang kind of weight to it, I suppose. That it would kind of fly very true. But its design is exotic and strange. It's also counterbalanced at the kind of at the shaft of it, where you'd hold it, the handle, gonna put it, by another piece of metal which comes off of it. And I'll see if I can show you an image here in Roll20 as what it would look like in a second here. So what are you doing with it, I guess, if anything?
I guess I pick it up and kind of like show it, and I show that it's balanced, and is there any blood or anything on it?
There appears to be dry blood on it. Fairly old. If you look in Roll20, I can show you the players that, and you see the knife of that description which you see before you.
How is that balanced? All right, awesome.
It is,
What
yeah.
a beautiful scythe, however, it kind of seems to be tipping to one side.
It is
I've never actually. I know those are like used. I've never seen someone actually use it.
yeah,
It's like a corn scythe, isn't it?
No, it's an African throwing weapon.
it's a historically accurate weapon which
Oh,
does
wow.
exist.
Yeah, it is. It is a
Awesome.
real type of African throwing knife.
Yeah.
That's great. Anyway,
I feel so. I thought that was a Klingon weapon.
yeah, it's like, that's so cool. I mean, it makes sense now that I'm looking at it, but yeah, whatever.
So it looks like this is some sort of weaponry from not from this land, not from at least around here. Take a look, and oh, careful! There's looks like dried blood right here and here.
I take out like a handkerchief and then I start to hold it.
Can I take the weapon from him and just like hold it in my hand and see if it would be balanced enough, at least in my hand, that like
Yeah.
I could, because I being a former criminal, I have quite a bit of skill in melee weapons. Just want to just kind of motion with a little bit to see if it would possibly, it not throwing it, but just using it as like a normal knife, would have like the leverage or the weight.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
actually-
As someone who has wielded knives before, you can tell that you can use this knife for butchery. It's pretty multi faceted, I suppose. There's different uses that you could have with it.
I kind of hold, like once I'm done, kind of, just testing it. I hold it in my hands, like I think this may have been a ritual weapon that we were looking for. The cuts would be irregular, at odd angles, and require quite a few of them. But the blood seems to indicate it has been used. As for the designs, it's foreign, but I've never seen them before.
Have you seen this before, Cecily?
Muted. No, she's.
I don't
There we go.
want to talk when I'm muted. I'm very sorry, because otherwise she'll have to make me drink.
Yeah.
She shakes
That's
her head.
rules.
I mean, like, I'm no expert about like hiding stuff on your person, but if you're gonna try and sneak into someone's house and kill them, like, it's not exactly the most subtle thing, is it?
No, I agree. George, you're on the right track there. That's not the way to do it.
No, but it wouldn't be impossible to conceal in a cloak or a coat.
You're right. It wouldn't be impossible. However, nowadays, I don't believe there's any real reason to. Is there though?
When was the last time you saw someone wearing a cloak?
A long time ago. It must be about 5 years ago. The last time I saw a cloak.
Everyone in London has a wool coat these days.
They have a long coat, but not a cloak that covers their. Yes, perhaps it's used a similar way.
Very well.
Is there anything like I don't have? I have to open my character sheet. I don't have much. I don't have anything in occult really, but I do have some good, some investigate. Like I'm pretty good at spotting hidden things, and like I could actually. I'm pretty good at sleight of hand. Like, could I use my sort of skill to see if there's any way I could like conceal this on myself in a way that might.
I mean, the blade isn't huge. On the east side, people will carry knives, switchblades around on them, even bigger knives. Like, you could fit this into a large jacket pocket or a large coat pocket and easily hide its presence.
Oh, so it's there's only like the size of like a Bowie knife or something.
Yeah, it's a little larger than that, but certainly concealable. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I say. Anyone who put in the effort could definitely hide this. This room, though. What have you found out? What can you tell us about it? And I'll just look around, and if there's any, like, I can look for hidden stuff, I will.
Yeah, you can give me a spot hidden.
Sure.
While he's did that, I'd kind of start pointing out, and then I'd maybe. Sorry.
Can I use my advantage on that?
Yeah.
Okay, I get a 28.
Okay. So yeah, you have a look around this room. And as you touch the walls, you look for hidden secret things, entrances. You don't spot anything which is out of the ordinary, other than the strange bizarreness of itself. And this room that you can tell has been made fairly recently compared to the architecture of the house before. Like in the house itself, you can tell this is fairly recently created and made. But there's nothing which is hiding here or which you haven't yet noticed, other than the only thing which you haven't yet investigated is this big book on the table.
And that is the first thing I will go to.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Is there a candle or anything around here? Or do we just?
You got like flashlights and torches, yeah. So, yeah, you open up the book, and you flick through a few pages before you get to any writing, and then as you're looking through these kind of scrawlings, you see it's in a very kind of hasty hand. Someone wrote this quite quickly, but it appears to be, as you're flicking through it, a logbook of some kind, a diary, and all of the entries pertain to the movements of a person. For instance, you see one which reads Doc, night, 2 men, right before sun. And then that is the only entry on that page. You flick over the next page, and it reads, good start, need more petals, have help. And there's a pressed rose next to that entry. You flick through similarly, but however, that is the last entrance. The more petals have help is the last entry into the book. But you go through it. There's all sorts of movements around. It tends to be watching someone at the docks, it seems like, and who that person is moving with. But there's no mention as to who that person is. There's no name, and there's no mention of who the author is either.
Just as an ex-criminal, a reformed ex-criminal, would I generally understand that, like, I could put together a scene from the description that maybe, like, if they're at the dock, they're trying to smuggle something in, like they're watching a guard or someone at the, like, what kind of, can I put together some kind of image of what they're doing at the dock, or does it sound like someone's just describing them watching someone?
It sounds like whoever is writing this is simply describing the movements of this person. It almost seems like a ritual, because it seems to describe a few different people, because sometimes weeks will go by and then they'll watch someone else. The movements are just very basically descriptive. Like I said, it's written in almost like childlike form, or a form which isn't quite developed, and there's no style to it. It's brief, like 2 nights, 2 men, night, docks, that sort of thing. And again, it's very similar. So another would be night, 1 man, docks.
Okay, so it just says that. It doesn't say like what they actually do there.
It doesn't say anything about what that person is doing. It doesn't tell you who exactly they're with, other than their gender. And it doesn't tell you what the watcher or onlooker is doing, other than looking. Other than that final entry, which read, good start, need more petals, have help. And it has a pressed rose next to it.
Is there like, can I compile a list? Like docks is one, like a list of just the places that they're watching, or that they're...
Yeah. Mostly are focused around the docks. Okay. However, there are a few entries which describe bars and taverns, I suppose, but 1920s.
Any by name?
None by name.
I turn and I kind of shut the book and I say, I believe whoever's writing this may have been kept somewhere, clearly underdeveloped. All they're describing is watching people at various places, mostly down at the docks. Do you know anyone who travels down there?
I mean, like, you're talking about watching people, and I point to each of those pictures. These are all us, but like, Steve's on that one. How would they know that Steve would be with us? Like,
I don't think the book is connected to that. I don't think any of it. Have you been to the docks?
I mean, someone's been watching to know what we look like.
I don't deny that. I'm just trying to put together what's in this book. It's not enough information to go on, really.
Surely we can assume that this book belongs to the person who drew the pictures and is likely the killer. I just look across the faces because I'm also like, or is it a ghost? I don't know.
The handwriting would suggest, but I'm trying to figure out why their pattern, their movements. Somehow, whoever this is spends an inordinate amount of time at the city docks watching people coming and going. Who they're watching, what they're or why, there's no description of.
Well, that's where the drunken sailor was. The drunken captain was.
The tavern?
Yeah, that was down at the docks.
There are taverns listed here, none by name, but
And that at least connects it to the first victim.
he. Now I must have missed that. That was it. So the other guy went down to a bar. The captain went to a bar down at the docks.
He drank there regularly.
Yeah,
Oh.
the chief of police drank there regularly. The only other
Oh, right,
location-
I do remember that now.
the only other location which has been named to be down by the docks is a
The
brothel.
Sweaty Rose or something like that.
Yeah, it was the Crimson Rose. Yeah.
Stop! Oh my gosh, those names.
Melly cheek.
Yes.
Well, if you wanted petals from somewhere, you might pluck them from a rose.
Have we been there yet? Or are there roses there?
We were headed there when we got the phone call.
I think we'll owe it a visit. However, our friend Eric wanted me to remind you that we have a press conference in not but an hour.
Well, we better finish looking at this place, get over to the Crimson Rose, and
Yeah.
we better get moving.
Where is the Crimson Rose located by the docks?
Sorry, I'm eating burrito. Yes, the Crimson Rose is located within that vicinity, but it's by no means at the docks.
Okay.
It would be a reasonable journey if you were looking to pick up a woman of the night to go from the Crimson Rose to the docks, because obviously dock workers would prostitutes would be at the docks looking to pick up trade. And so brothels around that side of town, I mean, they're all there. You know, there are more brothels than just the Crimson Rose. They're all in that general area.
Okay.
Remind me real quick of the entry about the petals.
Entry reads, you read it here. Good start. Need more petals. Have help.
I turn to the group. I say, this woman, we know she was a street worker. Is it possible she worked at the Rose?
I mean, I'm no expert, but a good place to find prostitutes is at a brothel.
Yes, no, I know. I don't know if we knew whether she was independent or worked a house.
Look, we're not doing our fucking taxes. We just.
I put my hand. I say, this
That made me
entry-
lol too much.
I say,
Sorry.
this entry I think is in code.
We're not doing our fucking
It
taxes.
says, good start. Need more petals. If the woman worked at the Rose and she was killed, they may be talking about killing more from there. He may be referring to the women.
I'm pretty sure I just said that in a roundabout way. Like, we should probably.
Yes, we should probably get over there.
Let's go.
If we have time. Sorry, I totally spaced on if you said that.
It's okay.
So good. So you guys are heading off ASAP down to the Crimson Rose, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'd do a cursory glance over the rest of the house just to see if there's anything strange in any of the other rooms.
Sure. You have a glance around. You go through the place. You find some old bits and bobs, but nothing which really sticks out to you as like eldritch weirdness. So yeah, you don't really find too much else other than, in fact, in one of the bedrooms, you find a medical book, which is a book on human anatomy. Several of the pages have been ripped out.
Can we see from the contents what the pages are about?
Yeah, they're about organs. The chapters on organs and several pages have been taken out of this book. Yeah.
Makes sense, I suppose.
Okay. Other than that, though, you guys head on out of the building. Also, guys, we are pretty tight on this straw pile. We've got a freeway. Everyone likes freeway, but let's have a decider on that one.
Yeah, 17% each.
I know, the
Jeez,
perfect
this is a
amount.
perfect freeway.
Good lord. Night Highland. So you guys rush out into a car, which Eric gets for you. And as you drive off, who's driving, by the way?
That'll be me.
All right, so George is driving, and I
Look at his
imagine,
hat. Of course, he's driving.
Definitely not me.
George drives like a madman around London. Yeah.
Fuck out of the road.
Yeah, I'm leaning out the window, swearing at people like words I've never heard before.
Yeah, you're the most road ragey driver in 1921.
Get off the road, you twat.
He probably has no qualifications to drive, but
I was a pilot. Come on. How hard can it be?
that's
Yeah,
planes.
his pilot license on the road. Like, don't worry, officer.
Takes 30 minutes before. Takes 30 minutes before we even get out of the driveway because you're checking everything.
Like, I'm pulling the fucking sun visor down and.
Perfect.
We still have a tie. Oh no, we don't anymore. Never mind.
No, I got
I
it.
was gonna say we still had a tie, but no.
No worries. So yeah, you head to the brothel. You park down the street, and you come to a rather busy establishment filled with scantily clad ladies. They let you in, of course, and you enter into a bar room. Of course, the Crimson Rose is well above, and the symbol of the roses is kind of insignia. You see that around this place, it's a fairly classy establishment, really. It's quite tastefully done for a brothel. It's not like the dirt end of the side. It's more kind of the clean end.
Not as many ankles as you might think.
Exactly. Yeah. But you do see the Alice Bar. There are plenty of men, obviously dominant in the audience here, who are drinking at the bar. There are you're in a kind of large. Show your face, Gareth. I will take you to the dirt end. I will take you to the dirt
What on
end.
earth have I missed?
Referring to a brothel, he said the words dirt end. And that's a very specialist brothel.
Specialist.
You'd be
my
surprised,
gosh.
Gareth. You'd be surprised. Anyway,
How many brothels have you been to?
only the Crimson Rose thus far. I'll take you guys when
Specialist
I'm
ones.
next down in London. We can all go. But you
Up for that.
you enter into this bar, and there's a big kind of atrium, and there's rooms going off to the side, in which you see women of the night taking gentlemen in, leading them inside, and then closing the doors and it being locked. And there's music being played in here. It's quite nice.
It would be awkward if it wasn't.
Yeah. It's the most grungy music. No, it's 20s, so it's swinging. It's swinging. That's what you walk into. Of course, as you enter, however, there is a lady who greets you, and she appears to be older. She's more of the kind of matronly-like figure, I suppose, and. And thanks so much to Pregnant Chipmunk, £10. I would like Angus to be bum rushed by prostitutes because he has the sexiest of voices. That makes sense. So as you're greeted by this,
Another day.
Brothels work.
Just another Wednesday for old Angus.
I'll have a bum rush, please.
I'll have the bum.
Like 4, please.
I'll have the dirt end bum rush, please. Oh, we're the worst. Oh dear lord.
They have to bring him to the special room.
The specialist room.
What have we become?
I'll take the bum rush.
What have we become?
I'll take the bum rush package. The 2 for 1.
God, no.
Hold the package, please.
Bring the package in.
The free T-shirt.
So this matronly woman greets you, and she is flanked by some beautiful young ladies who immediately kind of take the shoulders of Angus, and they're kind of either side of him, just kind of fondling, just kind of rustling his jimmies.
Looks like my people need me.
His jimmies are so rustled.
What was the exact quote? I'll put it into the book. But yeah, she greets you, and just to the group who says, is this your first time here? I always recognize a face. So
I pull out a
handsome.
wad of pound notes and I kind of, we're just here for the view and maybe a chat.
I see. Well, and she like,
I look awkwardly back like I've done this far too many times before.
yeah, she takes it, and she basically she shoots you a wink, and she says to Cecily, says, of course, we do offer all sorts of amusements here. We don't discriminate.
Cecily nods and smirks.
We don't discriminate against Zoda.
Well, you know, I'm an equal opportunities lady.
Excellent, excellent. Thanks so much to Zoda for following as well. Welcome. You're a gentleman and a scholar, sir. But she says, well then, I suppose we can have a chat in a quiet room. Separate rooms, I'm guessing?
Yes, please. I'd love to chat.
Very. She looks over to George, who's the one who's paying.
I mean, I don't.
Thank you, George. You're such a gentleman.
Well, I think I'm the only one with the money.
Yeah, it's your money.
Yeah.
I don't think, unless any of you fancy partaking, I don't think we're gonna need separate rooms.
So it's business, not pleasure.
No, that's he misspoke. I will be.
Oh, you're not here for business, are you? She says, like, one of the girls says, like, stroking you.
I'm gonna,
Your
curl her
moustache.
hair around
Your
her
moustache.
finger and say, yes, unfortunately, darling.
And welcome to Chocolate Cookie 101 for following. Welcome, my friend, to the adventure. You're a gentleman and a scholar.
That's both my mods, by the way. Zod 4 and Chocolate Cookie 101.
Nice.
I went with Zoda, but yeah, I hear you.
My two mods who also play my D&D games. So
How
good
come
to see you
they
guys.
waited until the hooker showed up to follow? Is there any
Yeah,
reason?
Yeah, is there a reason why?
yeah, well,
That was so quick.
A couple.
It must be an ERP record.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like really, really strange.
So-
they
That was
just
very
showed
quick.
up.
Like, you press follow. No, you press follow.
You
That's what I'm
hang
saying. You did it first. You did it first.
So the matronly woman says, "My name is Madame Rose. Let's speak somewhere privately, shall we?" And she kind of she drifts off with the group of you. The group the girls follow Angus, of course. They're stuck to you at this point.
Tokyo drifts off.
Tokyo just. She fast and furious to shout at him.
Fast and Furious.
And she leads you into a private chamber. I just love how fucking
I
drunk
just have the
Lee is.
soundtrack in my head. I can't.
Imagine her peeling out and running into the wall.
You always have to have a private chamber to get bum rushed.
Yes, you do. I find. But yeah, she leads you into this room, which is very nice. A lot of sofas around, a lot of cushions. There's a bed, which is further into the room. She sits down.
It's comfortable. It's the 20s, so everything's just like really
Yeah.
hard wood underneath what looks comforting.
Yeah. And she says, "So, how can I help you, fine ladies and gentlemen, today?"
I don't remember why we're here, really.
Oh, you're here for us.
Yes, I know that, but there was something else why we're
No, I don't think so.
here.
We're asking somewhat sensitive questions about someone that might have visited.
The girls giggle.
Cecily attempts to do like a girly kind of bonding where she kind of zhuzhes the hair and says, "Right, okay, we do have some kind of questions for you, if that's okay."
Of course it is. Of course it is. Anything to help the police.
Thank you. Means a lot to me.
Well, at this point, you guys haven't revealed yourself to be police.
We're not,
Well, we have.
not exactly.
I think that we're kind of obvious that we are kind of policey, I guess.
You're certainly acting strange.
Yes.
So, what questions do you have?
I described the deceased head of police. This fellow known to you. I think he's visited quite a few times.
Yes, I am familiar. can I first see some identification before I say anything I shouldn't?
I hand over another wad of pound notes.
Okay, very good. Yes, the chief of police was here. We accommodated him regularly.
Did he have any favorites?
Well, I suppose it was Nellie before she got taken away by him. He ended up hiring her, and since then, none in particular.
What about, would he ever bring in or come in with anyone else?
Always alone, but we would speak at occasionally. Always alone. He liked to remain anonymous.
What did he speak of?
Very little of great note, really. Pillow talk. He was here for one thing and one thing only.
And among your staff, do you have a young woman?
She's got quite a distinctive name. Do you have a Chelsea Pterodactyl working there?
She said, no pterodactyls.
How about Mullins, my dear? How about Mullins?
She looks like this one.
She looks like we would be sisters.
Yes. We have a Chelsea here, of course.
You know where she is?
Did she have anything to do with the gentleman we're speaking of?
Not as far as I'm aware, no.
Was she supposed to work today?
She is away with a client at the moment.
Away. Did she leave from here? What time?
I can't say I remember. Listen, I have a very important client coming in
Wait,
later.
I try and hush. Who was the client? What did he look like?
I don't know exactly. That would have been her business, not mine.
I mean, we can go out very publicly with badges and guns drawn and disrupt your...
But I will stay here very privately, if you like.
I mean, this could be a very awkward situation for such a private establishment.
Are you threatening me?
Well, if you read between the lines, pretty much, yes.
Well, listen here. I'm sure I can threaten right back. You've just revealed to me a lot of information, which I'm fairly certain that the press doesn't have yet.
Oh my gosh, George.
They will in about 20 minutes.
You're going to tell him all of this, are you?
What information is that? What have I revealed, love?
You've told me plenty. Even without saying everything, I can draw the lines.
Well, it looks like we're a bit of an impasse, so why don't we share details and save both of us getting fucked?
Yes, let's compare.
I'd really rather not. Listen, I can't get a reputation for sharing information with the police, and like I said, I've got a very important client coming in very soon, and I'm anxious to be away, so if you wouldn't mind...
I turn my back to, horrible with names, to George, like to her, so I'm facing George. I say, whoever this client is, we'll have to arrest him at the door.
No, you can't... You mustn't do that. If you saw police around, he'd just run.
Well, then you'll want to start talking, so we won't be here when he gets here. Full authority to arrest anyone he feels a person of interest in this investigation.
Listen,
when he walks through.
Listen, sir, and she looks to Steve. You seem like a reasonable gentleman, very handsome as well.
I look visibly insane. I'm grinding my teeth. I look angry. I look like I'm about to jump across.
Literally chewing your own face off at this point.
And I'll lean to her a bit.
She's making me insanely angry, and I lost half of my sanity.
Yeah,
So I already look mental. I'm probably sweating.
Watch out for that. He shot someone today.
Fine. This client I'm about to meet is someone that I care very much about, but I can see how, with the current investigation, things could look badly upon this gentleman. and this certain client, whose name will remain unspoken, of course, I don't want them to get in any trouble.
Who? Why would they be a person of interest in this investigation?
I don't understand.
This gentleman, she looks very kind of worried about you guys and the pressure you're putting upon her. He was the man who recently met with Chelsea.
Which
Stand
man?
up. I'm standing up at this point.
Yeah. Okay.
Shaky alcoholic's hands.
I'm gonna
Keep him-
put my hand up in front of Steve, so he like just sort of I say, tall, thin, well dressed, lot of money.
Yes, his name is George.
George who? And I like my brow is furrowed now, like, and I'm clutching this book to my chest.
Yeah, she says, this doesn't leave here, okay? You didn't hear it from me.
George who?
Chadwick. George Chadwick is his name.
I turn my back to her and say, he's the one who dropped the chest, the trunk off outside the house. He's the one that came by.
George.
Who is George Chadwick? George Chadwick. Who is George
Yeah,
Chadwick?
do we recognize the name?
Name is
Cecily's last name is Chadwick.
yeah, Cecily's last name is Chadwick. However, Cecily has no brothers or family relatives known as George Chadwick. So it's not a name of.
It's not like a person.
It's not a
famous
name
person.
of local
It's
import.
nobody.
Yeah.
It's nobody she'd know off the top of her head, I
No,
guess.
you wouldn't hear that name and be like, oh, him. Such as
No.
Aldrad117. Welcome, my friend, to the adventure. You're a gentleman and a scholar. It's not a name like Ellen Samuelson. Welcome as well, my friend. You're a gentleman and a scholar. She says, but please, just... he has got nothing to do with this, I'm sure. He's completely innocent. He's kind and loving, and he's the only man that ever has walked in here who actually cares about me.
I'm already out on my way out the door.
Sure. She says, no, wait, if he sees police, he'll just run. He'll just go.
I don't look like a police officer.
Yeah. She like, I guess she pleads to like Cecily and says, listen, let me talk to him. Let me have a conversation with him. And
With who?
With George, and I'll put his
Calm-
worries
calm
at
yourself,
ease.
Lady, it's okay. It's okay.
I'll put him at ease,
Sit
and you
down.
can
Yes, I understand.
you
I
can speak
understand.
with him. But if he sees people around who he doesn't he's very, very flighty. He doesn't like anyone who isn't a regular here. He gets easily spooked.
Are you asking for him to speak with me?
No, with me. You can be nearby, but just let me meet at our usual spot.
Where is that? Where's your usual spot?
It's just a back alley round a corner.
Of course.
You can.
Very
It's
romantic.
it's dark. He doesn't like to. It's dark there. You can hide. And thanks so much to Velve donates £3. George's next roll will be a natural 20.
Woo, woo.
Hopefully, hopefully your skill is over 20.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that means a 1.
a critical success. Yeah. But yeah. She says, just let me meet with him for the back alley bum rush. No. Let me.
Yeah,
Oh.
if they decide to meet out around the alley, what I'm gonna do is I'm just because I have a decent disguise skill, I just want to sort of plant myself at the entrance of the alley, like kind of looking like an unconscious drunk or something. Like just
Sure.
on rags, maybe a homeless person.
I will
Sure.
plant myself at the other end because I'm a spy. I can hide.
You can
in the
hide and
shadow.
In the
myself
shadows.
nearest potted plant.
Although I
Okay.
don't trust this woman, and now I just think that they both conspired together to kill my sister.
So
So
get them in the same place.
yeah.
Kill them both.
Okay, so this is
Does anyone else have a gun?
Yes.
Angus has a
Okay.
gun.
I only ever carry a blade. It's the only person that has a gun is Core's character.
That's right.
Yeah. So
I ask Angus to go to the other end with the drunk.
okay.
So we have
So
guns at either end. I'm gonna straight up murder these people. I'm half insane.
Sure, perfect. So here's the situation. Let me lay it all out to you.
I
So
think half sane. It depends on how you look at it.
yeah, half sane, glass half full, half empty. Madame Rose, manages to convince you like this is a good idea. She'll like trap him almost for you, and you can get him. And so she is in a dark alley. There is one entrance to this alleyway, and it's pretty dark. And at the back of the alley is Steve, right? So the very back of the alley is Steve hiding there. Madame Rose is in the middle. Angus and Silas are posed as drunks at the beginning of the street of the alley, which is
Can
pretty
Angus
long.
really pull off a drunk look?
I mean, he's been drinking whiskey this entire time.
Yeah, but he still looks like fucking Charlie. He's still in a suit.
I mean,
I think it's one of them when you see him in the cold hard light of day.
Thanks,
He's got
Bernie.
like bags under his eyes, and when it's dust
If
moonlight.
you saw Sean Connery stinking of whiskey
You
face
wouldn't
down
be
in an
surprised.
alleyway, you'd just assume he was a drunk
What a
regardless.
babe.
Yeah.
I know,
A drunk
just
that
regardless.
stumbled out
And
of
then-
a brothel.
and then
Very
finally,
handsome drunk.
Finally, Cecily and George, the alleyway spills out onto the main street. So are you guys hidden outward somewhere in the main street to...
Listen, like, you're not gonna like this. And I start pretending to make out with her against the wall.
With Cecily.
All right. How does Cecily react to this?
Cecily's like, oh my gosh. Oh, well, she doesn't really say anything because she's too busy making out
Yeah,
with
my
her.
breath tastes of cigarettes and cheap whiskey.
Oh, it kind of knocks her out, I guess.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay,
She's kind of
so...
a bit like,
Sanity check.
Sanity check immediately. So the situation is, Cecily and George are making out in front of the alleyway, posing as lovers.
Yeah, not right in front, just...
Yeah, to the side, off to one
just
side.
enough. Oh,
You
just
don't
off
want to make
the
this
side.
gaudy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Silas is posing as a drunk along with Angus at the beginning of the street. In the middle of the street, kind of hidden in the alley, is Madame Rose. And finally, Steve is in the very back alley here. So, it's late, it's dark, and it begins to rain. There's a kind of storm falls over London this morning as it begins to kind of rise to dawn, but it's still very gloomy and dark because of the dark clouds which are over London, I guess. And as you guys are in the east side, the camera pans down from the overhead view of each of you, like strategically positioned around. Madame Rose is, you can hear her nervous breath, and she constantly looks around to you. Around to make sure everything's okay. The two drunks are in the street, Silas and Angus drinking there. Steve is hidden in the shadows, gun ready to shoot. And Cecily and George are just kind of making out on the side of the alley. As it goes on, there's you'll probably hear for about 30 minutes in a very kind of pregnant silence and stealth. As you're waiting here, alerts to every single sound which is coming towards you. You hear the sound of clinking boots, the sound of boots on cobbles coming towards you pretty closely and coming very directly and very quickly in towards the alley as well. This is someone whose gait is pretty confident, I suppose. A bit like Cimarron. Welcome, my friend, to the adventure. You're a gentleman and a scholar. I'm breaking things.
When he passes
Yes.
into the alley, I want to use my considerable stealth skill to sort of draw my knife and kind of stalk up after him. So like when he gets
Yeah,
next
okay.
to him, I'm gonna like kick him in the back of the leg so he drops and then
Sure. So you see this figure who's actually got an umbrella up because it's very rainy. The umbrella up, wearing a dark coat. You see him just illuminated by a strike of the lightning as the storm hits fully onto the east side. And you see this figure before you casting a shadow over it. He looks down into the alley and immediately begins to sprint away at full speed from you guys.
I'll chuck Cecily to the floor,
Throw Cecily at him.
and I will sprint
That's
after
just
him.
like, what?
All right then. So the chase is on, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see who's going to be acting in which
not me because I got a shot leg.
order. It's okay. So roll me a quick. Let's see here. Which one is it? Oh, I
And
don't
that
remember.
20, I think you.
Just a nat
Nat
20 from
20.
you. All right, yeah, fair enough.
All right.
So, all right.
Critical success.
Oh, that's excellent.
With your nat 20, can you like throw her to the ground and then just like clothesline him as he runs by?
Well, it's,
I would throw her like a spear. Natural 20.
Actually, are you saying I'm stopping him, Will, for the nat 20?
well, I'm interested. No, I'm interested to see which George is intended because George is also the name of the killer. Correct?
I'm George. I'm not going to hit myself.
No, but Velv said nat 20 to George, and that's when we were describing the killer. So Velv, let us know if it's George, our George the PC, or George the killer. That we're
who rock bottoms who?
exactly.
Okay, just to sell it to you, if it is me, I can stop him instantly. I'm going to keep in the kiss and just stick out my leg and like kick him in the knee, which folds him and sticks him on the floor and keep kissing her.
Okay, so
Does she not get a say in this?
So first off, we need to roll some turn orders here. So let me go find my thing. So let's get. In fact, Askin's move rate is probably somewhat reduced at this point of his bad leg.
He's gonna book it. I'm not going.
Just roll me a D10 because I can't find it right now. So D10, and we'll get turn order going.
Everyone rolls a d10. This is how you do turn order. This is crazy.
Yeah, thanks so much to Chris Brown TV for following. Welcome to the Avenger, my friend. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Velv, I was asking the question, is the murderer George getting the nat 20, or is it the player character George getting the nat 20? If you get a tie with someone, then reroll.
This guy right here.
So if you get a tie, reroll. So George, what did you get?
I got a 2, but low's good, yeah?
Right. Silas, what did you get?
I didn't roll because I don't really.
Okay, we'll put you last, seeing as your bad leg.
Okay. I'm not gonna bother.
Angus, what did you roll?
1.
Good. Cecily, what did you roll?
I think I rolled a 4, if I just double check.
Sure.
Yes, a 4.
And
Elf says the player character.
the player character, cool. And you, Steve, what did you get?
6.
6, perfect. And the killer.
The fastest man alive.
Okay, so basically, we'll photo him as the killer for now. And he sees you, immediately dives out the way, runs out into the street and down into a different dark alley on the opposite side of the street on his turn. He is out of here. Steve, it's your turn. So he's just dived out the alley and he's down into a different alley the other side of the street right now. You don't have a clear shot at him yet.
I presume the far end, not my end of the alley.
Far
The
end.
dirt end.
The dirt end, yeah.
So I see, but I'm not going to know that he went into another alleyway.
You can spot him dive in there, but you don't get a chance to react and shoot him immediately.
I wasn't going to shoot him because I don't know if he's the killer yet, as much as I'm insane.
Sure.
I want to just, if the other alley goes the other way, I want to run out of my end of the alley and see if I can get round to the top end of the alley that he dove into. Or is
Sure.
it that he ran over a road and into
Yeah, he ran over a road into a different alley, so you can chase straight after him, though.
I mean, yeah, I'll just
Yeah.
book it down the alleyway.
Book it down
I'm just
after him.
running fast as I can, 70 dex.
Perfect. Very nice. Yeah, Steve just sets off immediately. You rush past Madame Rose and into the next street. Cecily, it's your turn. Thanks so much to Fuzzro Punked and his £5. Name an NPC to join the game. I have no clue how it works. Fuzzro, name an NPC. So an NPC is a non-player character, which means someone who will turn up and meet the party. So you can name who that person is and give me a description of what that person is like. 1920s London. So that takes it to Cecily. Cecily, he runs past
Hello.
you. What are you doing?
I'm going to follow.
All right, so you chase straight after this guy, booking it after Steve as well. George, he's just got past you at this point as well, as you're kind of making out with Cecily. You don't get time to stick out your leg, but you do have a nat 20 on this one if you want to use it.
Okay, I'm going to jump in the car, which I imagine is close.
Yeah.
And I'm going to book it down the alley. Book it. How big's the alley? Is it big enough to fit a car down?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm going to drive straight after him with the car, beeping at all the players in front of me to get out of the way.
Yeah. Everyone's screaming.
Just like I do traffic in the street.
Yeah, everyone's screaming, running out of your way. There are other people walking around here. It's starting to be dawn. You know, it's probably like 6, 7 a.m. at this point. Your meeting with the press is probably just minutes away, really. However, it's Angus. What are you up to, Angus?
So this guy is running on foot.
He's running on foot into a dark alley. He's being pursued by George as well as Steve and Cecily.
I'm gonna blindly fire into the dark alley.
Oh my god, that's perfect. So go ahead and roll me a difficult firearms RS for me.
I stab the darkness.
Stab the darkness. Shoot it, damn.
Darkness.
I have a gun, but I don't know how to use it.
Well, you've managed it. That's a 1. So actually, it should be. Technically, it's a 14 because I described it as a hard roll.
No, you shut up.
So it's a 14, which is a failure because we're in the second column. So it goes normal, difficult, extreme difficulty. So you can see the numbers get less.
You don't use the same roll, but just against.
But I got.
Nope,
come
you
on.
use the 14 in that column, the 75 in that column, and the 1 in that column. So that's how it does it. Oh, it's easier because then you just look down the column and you see what it is.
I was firing into
You
darkness.
fire into darkness. It's not going to be an easy shot.
You see why we hated Brad. You see why we said all that shit about him before we started. Yeah.
Rangus, Angus's twin brother who loves cats. It's going to happen, Fizzro punk rather. Let me put that in there, and I'll make that happen. It might not be this episode, but it will definitely be within next.
Angus, your brother. No.
No.
It's me, Rangus.
Right, yes, Rangus. Close to catch, of course.
Perfect. That is Angus. He shoots blindly into the darkness. In the alley is George, Steve, Cecily, and our killer. George is 1, Steve is 2, Cecily is 3, killer is 4. Would you please roll me a D4, Angus, and let me know what you roll?
Oh, 1.
That's a 1. That's George. So
In a
George.
car, is that not some level of protection?
Yeah, sure. Your car tire is shot out as you as he fires into the darkness blindly after the car, and the tire is kind of shot down. You immediately feel the release of air, and you kind of whoa! You have to like quickly dive it to one side and to keep it true, and it's going much slower. Turning is going to be very difficult at this point. Silas, you're kind of out of the action, far away at this point. But what's the plan for you?
I'm just gonna. So I was standing outside an alleyway, and they're all running down like an alleyway directly across the street from me.
Yeah.
I'm going to reach into the garbage can next to me, take my book out because that's where I stored it from the rain.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to look around and just walk up the street the direction we came.
Okay, so he starts kind of shuffling and hobbling up. As you guys are down this dark street with the killer, with Steve and George and kind of Cecily just behind
Actually,
Angus.
can I change my thing real quick?
Yo? Yeah.
Instead of that, we have the woman with us, right? She was in the alley with me.
Yeah, she was in the alley with you.
Not Cecily. No, the.
Yeah, Madame Rose.
Yeah.
Cecily has a name.
I want to arrest her instead.
Cool, you arrest her.
Yeah, that's it. That's where I spend my time.
And in fact, she's gonna run away from you. Fuck you. She's not having any of that stuff. So she's running out into the street and trying to run away from you at this point. So you can kind of like hobble after her as she's going. She's a woman in her 50s. She can run still, right? She's still got it.
Yeah. I think it's around 51 where they can't run.
They can't run anymore. Yeah, that's usually about the
That's
age.
about the right age.
Yeah. On the killer's next turn, he dodges right into an alleyway, another one down to the right, and just disappears from sight for a moment. The next second, Steve rounds the corner. Steve, you're looking at a man. His back is to you. He's running down a dark alleyway, and you can just about see him. He's illuminated fairly well, but he's got his dark cowl on. He's thrown away his umbrella. He's a fairly tall, slim gentleman. Kind of fits the description of the guy that you've been seeking, and you are within a clear shot of him if you wish to take a shot. Not that you
I
have
can
to.
shoot him, but I can't catch him.
You could shoot him, you could definitely catch him. You could make a roll. You could definitely shoot him, but you could potentially catch him, rather. So you could give me a roll if you wanted to either catch him or shoot him.
I mean,
You've got a shot at him, doesn't mean that you will definitely hit him, you know?
I'd rather catch him, but I also really don't want him to get away. So
Yeah, he's about to turn another corner here. So you can keep pacing after
if it
him.
looks like it's going to be ridiculously difficult to catch him, I'd rather try and shoot at him because Angus has already started firing, so that's basically given me the go-ahead. I learned my lesson from randomly showing up and just shooting things.
Yes.
I wasn't going to just outright shoot him, but
I mean, it's a snap decision for Steve. Like, he's also losing fraying sanity as well, which is something to bear in
yeah, I'm
mind.
going to shoot him.
All right,
You're right.
he's going to shoot him.
You're quite correct, yeah. I'm
Yes,
gonna
I
shoot him.
am completely insane.
Firearms, handgun, yeah?
Yes, handgun.
Okay.
And you would have a bonus slap, but yeah, nowhere near as much as 75 is not enough. You fire out, cracks down into the night, and then you kind of whizzes off, but you don't hear it connect. You don't hear him scream out.
That's insane.
Yeah, Cecily, you're running after George's car at this point.
Attempting to.
Are you still kind of carrying along the car, running behind him, or are you trying to cut the guy off in any way?
Attempting to, yes. I guess I'm not entirely sure what she'd have to try and cut the guy off.
Let's see. I guess you could guess which alleyway he's going to duck into next, and then try and cut him off from that.
Beforehand.
Yeah. Okay, so
yeah, she'll try and do that. So I guess it would be like a track. It wouldn't be a track skill. It'd be.
I tell you what. Just give me a quick just give me a quick intelligence. Just the top characteristic. Just roll your intelligence, and we'll see. It's a 50-50 chance because your intelligence is 50. It's 70 in fact.
It's
Yep,
70.
I was looking at the wrong sheet. Sorry. Yeah, so on a 66, you kind of quickly form the map in your head and then dive off into another street to cut the guy off. That takes it to George. George, what is your plan at this point? You've got a car, but the tire has been burst.
Yeah, so I imagine I'm going to have to kind of slam it in front of the alley that he's just ducked down, open the door and book it, and hopefully try and sprint and catch it if I can, or is he too far gone for me?
I mean, you're going to be catching up with Steve. At the end of your turn, you can get to where Steve is and just run past him.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll just sprint all the way. I want to keep him in sight for as long as possible.
Perfect. Angus, you fired blindly in, which kind of stopped you for a moment here. You can dive back into the alley with the guys if you wish to, or you can try and cut them off with Cecily. What's
I'm
the
going to
plan?
try to cut them off.
Okay, so you dive into the street with Cecily, another dark alley to follow the guy through. That takes it to Silas's turn. Silas, the Madame Rose has run back to her brothel, basically. She's going to run into the Crimson Rose on your turn. The door is open. You can see her inside.
I will walk inside.
All right. So you kind of stroll inside. She's being like bustled.
To run somewhere like away.
Yeah, she's being bustled by a group of her ladies, and there are also bouncers at the door. She points back to you. The bouncers start moving towards you, to get rid of you, basically, as if you're an unwanted patron.
I'm gonna kind of furrow my brow and pull out my kind of large knife, and I'm gonna say, "You're all under arrest."
Yeah, one of them similarly brings out some weapons. This is the east side of town, and they just kind of like look at you like, "Come on, then." If you're gonna bring it, you see her being bustled into like the back. She goes out a back door with her like some women like kind of bodyguarding her. She's like shuffled out.
You tell me what you want to do. I'm not gonna attack anyone directly, but if anyone's
Yeah, they're not gonna attack you, but they're just like bring it if you want to bring it, sort of thing.
Fuck! I don't want to attack the bodyguards. I want to get the woman.
That out of context is very bad.
Always.
Yeah, the alleyway that we were in went around the back, right?
It did, yeah.
I'm gonna make my way in that direction.
All right, so you start making your way, hobbling off in that direction with your bad leg. It's the killer's turn. He is gonna kind of continue to dodge out of the way. You can tell, however, that his gait is slowing those who are following him. He's clearly kind of running out of breath here. If you've been running for a little bit here down these dark alleys ways. Steve, again, as you turn the corner, you see he's just about to dive into a car at this point. As he rushes out onto the street, and there is a car, and its driver is just kind of pulled up quickly and is gonna let him into the car.
All right. Here's the thing that I want to do to you, Will.
Yes,
and
do it to me.
And I feel like
Do it.
I have absolutely no legs to stand on to say this, but I swear, once upon a time, there was a thing where you can fire loads of times, but they're all just
Yeah, you should
something.
be able to. If you have a weapon which is a burst, you should be able to do it.
Oh, okay. So it's not like a bang. click again, bang.
Yeah, I believe, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, but though probably none of us know, that you can do a burst. In fact, I'll let you do it on this.
This is the thing. The only time I saw a gun ever before, the person shot
Yeah,
the
we have-
3 random times. You know, you get the rolls, and each one is
Yeah. I'll tell you what.
each one is more disadvantaged than the next or
right,
something. But
well,
I just straight up.
I will
don't know
give
the-
you.
I'm just being like
Yeah.
an awful player.
No.
and I'm really-
I mean, we don't really use the rules too much anyway. So you will give me a firearms handgun roll. The first roll will be the one on the left, and then the second one, because you're reloading and doing it quickly, will be the middle one, which will be harder, and then the third one, so on and so forth. So you have normal, difficult, and extreme difficulty to take these free shots off.
You do
Well-
also have advantage that you were given before.
You do have advantage, which you given before.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, from Highland Glass. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So here's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
I'm gonna fire. What does a single action mean?
Just basically your turn, I guess. I think you can
No,
do
I
two
mean,
single actions on a turn.
a gun, on an actual cult.
Oh,
in
no,
bang,
1911.
bang.
Single action
Yeah.
is just like you put one bullet in the chamber and you you pull the thing forward and you fire it, and then you have to pull the bolt back in the casing.
On
It
a
can
little
only-
handgun? How does that work? Is that the little? Am I just like?
No, 1911 is semi-automatic.
Yeah, you just there's a trigger.
You
and
just pull
that.
that. You don't have to hit the hammer.
You
just-
praise America.
Look at the Americans educating you on guns. That's weird, isn't it?
Well,
This is the thing: is that I don't want to be able to do something insane with this gun.
no,
you
no,
know?
yeah,
I have this gun. I don't want it to be like I fire thunder at it.
it's good.
It's okay. We're not
Just,
used to this. Just
Go ahead
make
and
it
roll it.
happen.
It's real good. Go ahead
I
and
know,
roll. We'll see what
but
happens.
I feel bad for coming in and being like, I want to use this ray gun on him.
It's all
I
good.
use the laser.
And you're all there like, you're
All right.
being nice to him, Will. All right. Yeah, I want to fire this gun as many times as I have 5
Okay,
bullets.
click the firearms man for me.
Suddenly it's
So
a
you need to
rocket
do.
launcher. What?
I'll tell you what happens as you nuke
Right,
this
one
man.
with advantage.
Sure.
Do I do it twice?
Just give me a roll first. There we go. So the first roll, okay. So use your advantage and re-roll that because they're all misses currently. And they are. Seeing as okay, the first shot I'll give it to you because you should be better than 20 already. That's my fault. You shoot him. You fire three bullets. The first one connects. The second two just go a little bit wide. But you shoot him in the back of the head as he drives into the car. The car kind of pulls up. You shoot him in the back of the head. I mean, because technically you failed, but I kind of want to give it to you because you should be better at firearms than that. And you're firing kind of blindly off into him. You just shoot the guy in the back of the head. He falls forward onto the car, and suddenly there's like screams and commotion all around as gunshots have been fired, and he has been instantly killed. It looks like. I mean, it's possible he's alive. Miracles do happen, but it looks like he's just fallen flat onto the front of the car.
Filters, hey man, nice shot plays.
Yeah.
And
Ouch. Ouch.
Squad.
can I do more, or is it just over? My turn's over.
I mean, we'll go out of combat turns, I guess, here at this point, seeing as it seems like the immediate threat is done. So the rest of you kind of rush up to this point.
there's a car there with someone in it, though, right? Can I try and shout freeze at him or something as well?
He kind of like puts his hands up. It's like a cabbie dude who's like, sorry, so whoa, don't shoot. You come over.
Yeah, I'll wave him off then if he's just a cab.
Yeah,
I
he's-
thought it was
He scurries off.
robed-looking ally.
No, he kind of runs off. And oh my good lord! Thanks so much to Fuzzro Pong donates £50 and says, "Could you have a merc sniper who was paid by the killer to keep the heroes at bay? It's a woman who was a member of the." Oh my. Okay, but did it? All right.
Die.
Oh my
You need to get rid
gosh.
of me anyway. So.
Thank you.
Oh man.
Wow.
Thanks so much.
Fuzzro.
That's incredible.
Thank you so much for your
I
support.
would say thank you, but it depends on what this sniper does to my character, my beloved. Mullins.
So at this
Steve Pterodactyl.
At this point, a few things happen. Oh boy. Let me fuck around with this gold in a second there. I'll give you that gold. Don't worry, my friend. So a few things happen. You rush over to the body of the killer, the man who you shot and who was clearly lying dead on the floor by this cab. You rush over, see who it is. The cabbie runs away. There's commotion all in the streets. The four of you guys rush over, turn over the body. It's a man with kind of ginger hair. He looks like a manual worker. You can tell by his hands that he's probably some kind of maybe like a coal worker or something like that. Pretty normal looking guy. You kind of go through his wallets and stuff like that. He doesn't have much money on him at all. He looks like he's probably some East Ender, potentially fairly poor. He doesn't have many teeth. He looks kind of similar to George in the way he carried himself, I suppose. And at as you look over him, you kind of run him over. You check his name. His name is Walter Jones, and he is indeed a manual worker, or was indeed. And you see the blood kind of pouring out the back of his head. At that point, we hear a gunshot go off, and a kind of flash from somewhere as from somewhere on a rooftop, someone has fired a gunshot, and it has found its way into Steve Pterodactyl. As you look down, Steve, clutching at a bloody wound from his chest, as a bullet is torn right through him, and he's up against the floor.
Oh my god, Steve, what?
Next to the dead killer, if he is indeed our killer. However,
Not like this.
what is the dying words of Steve here, or what are you guys doing to help Steve?
Steve Pterodactyl.
Can I voluntarily make a madness roll or an insanity roll? Because this is taking me right back to the war.
Yeah, go for it.
The PTSD kicks in.
Okay, cool. So we'll get to insanity roll next time. Don't worry. But yeah, certainly George is freaking out over this. The rest of
Cecily runs over.
yeah, I
Who's the
mean,
closest
He runs
person to
over.
me?
you see a shadowy figure just running from a rooftop somewhere, the group of you are kind of around Steve, looking down at him as he's clutching a wound.
Who's close? Which
I use
one?
my grappling hook and I go chase the assailant.
Cecily is close.
I'm gonna grab Cecily. I'm gonna put my gun into her hand,
Yeah.
shaking my little hand, and I'll say, "Please, find out my sister's killer. Avenge."
She's gonna stroke his, hold his face as he's talking. No, don't, stay with me, Steve. Here he is.
My bowels let go.
Oh dear.
Oh, beautiful. As in all death.
Yeah.
And
Realistic. I'm here. I'm doing the realistic thing. I brought in a real gun. I was making the rolls
Wow.
real.
You've got real bowels.
You killed a witness, and
I really shit myself.
he took the bum rush. He took the real bum rush. But Steve Pterodactyl lies as the camera pans out, and we go back into sweeping across London to where Silas is hobbling along down a street. As he's
You probably gave up the chase.
as you're coming along, it's only been a few moments really. You've just got into the street. You come down this dark alley and you turn, and you see before you Haruhi Kitty. Welcome to the adventure. You're a gentleman and a scholar. But in fact, you see before you illuminated and screaming people around the figure of Madame Rose, who is stretched out onto the floor, and you see that she has been brutally killed. Her throat looks like it's been slit. There's blood everywhere, and you look across the street to a dark alley, and you see a figure just running away into the night. And thanks so much to
Rest in
Sione Sion and Fuzzro Punk for following. Dude, Fuzzro Punk hadn't even followed before? Jesus, man. That's awesome. And so as we see, Madame Rose has indeed been killed by the real killer, potentially, or another killer, who knows? Someone has murdered her.
knows. Chat does.
Chat does, do they? I don't know, I might have just made it up on the fly.
Whoa.
Chat knows everything. Chat literally knows everything, ever.
Wow.
Alright then. Steady on there. Thanks so much to Gen79 for following. Welcome to the adventure. You're a gentle Gen and a scholar. So as the camera just kind of fades outwards, that is what we see. Dying Steve Pterodactyl and the dead Madame Rose, along with our dead killer, supposedly who was a killer. And that is how we're going to end episode 2 of Call of Cthulhu, An Ancient Evil.
Jeez,
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. What a session.
that's crazy.
And
Wow.
what a what a game. However, do not fear, lovers of killing Brad, because we're about after here in a moment here, once we go around and do some hooks and plugs, we're going to have a session with Brad Woto, myself, with Trainsy TV, that handsome fella over there, Awkward Kitty Inc. and the Pony Punch coming on to play a Monster Mash game. I'm playing D&D 5th edition with these guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. Brad's playing Noblin, Lord Noblin, the rogue goblin.
Noblin, the noble wizard goblin.
Yes, and I
Lord Noblin, the wizard goblin.
it's
Noble
going to be...
wizard goblin. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Oh my
Lee.
gosh, that's amazing.
Thanks, Lestrin. So, yeah, that was Call of Cthulhu. Like I say, we were prepping it earlier with stream, and now we've played the game, and now we're going on to our next game here in a few moments. But let's go around and thank our wonderful cast for another great session. It was a lot of fun. So, Brad, first off, thoughts on your death as Steve Pterodactyl. How do you feel about it?
Partially devastated, partially assumed it was coming because I'm only a guest, you know. I sent Will a message halfway through, like, I might be able to make next week because
Yeah.
it seems like you're coming to the end of the show and you can't get rid of me. And then Crossrow Punk was like, nah, sniper.
Sniping.
And I'm dead. So I'm kind of sad. I kind of like, it's that thing where you just about get into character and then it's the end of the first episode. So I'm like sort of sad, but you know, I'm sure Crossrow Punk will kill my goblin next as well.
Of course, yeah. One can only assume.
Yeah.
So I was legitimately, I feel like if this had happened like a little bit earlier on, I would have just like paid £50 to bring him back. I might do it. If I come back as a guest,
Yeah.
I'll the week before, I'll just pay £50 to have like Steve Pterodactyl walk in all like
Badass.
yeah, pale with this crazy
Bloody
scar.
did the eyes and everything.
Yeah.
No, he could pull oh god, the guy from Avengers who died in the movie and then came back in the TV series.
Yeah, Coulson.
Yeah.
I'll do a Coulson. Yeah.
Carry your trading cards with you.
But yeah, I mean, I don't really need to do any like super shout outs because I'm gonna stay here, but I'm Brad Woter and you can just click on my name in the chat thing and just follow me on Twitch or Twitter, I guess is
Yeah.
the same.
Do it.
But I'm going to be here in a minute, so I'll just do
Yeah.
a proper one at the end of that because I expect everyone to stay.
Everyone.
Everyone.
All right then. Lee, you're doing things on the internet these days.
Hello, yes I am. I'm making a nuisance of myself. Well, I have reached my £300 goal for
Hey.
Macmillan Cancer support, which is fantastic.
Proud of
Thank
you
very
guys for
much.
that.
It is your fault. I am running dressed as Schmeagol the Goat, but any spare change is still appreciated. I have until the 6th of August
Yeah.
to make anything extra, so I'm going to shamelessly post that in chat. Thank you so much to everyone who shared, donated. It's your fault I'm running as Schmeagol the Goat. I will have GoPro footage for you.
Ooh,
Nice.
perfect.
Yeah, one of my colleagues is bringing a GoPro, and he said to make sure that he's going to get decent footage for you all who's donated. So thank you very much.
Awesome. And Gareth, anything you want to say today?
You always damn follow me. I care not about running or charity, so.
I care not.
But no, thank you. It's awesome. Like, if you're not following these guys, if you're not following Counter, just follow, because like I know there's quite a few new people turned up. It's awesome to see you in chat, and like there's more of this every fucking day. And
yeah.
it's, the more you get involved, the more fun we have.
But wait, you're streaming, right?
You stream now, Gareth.
Technically, yes. Like I stream as Suddenly Pandas. I started on Saturday, and I didn't intend to do it for very long, but I've done it every day since, and it's super fun. And I'm going to shout myself out because that's what Myth
Right.
does. He taught me how to do it. So you can follow me if you like it. I'm playing ARP with Myth on his Myth RP server, which is really cool. It's a RP game server. It's fucking cool. There's some awesome stuff.
Nice. Speaking of which, Mythomatic, you do things on the internet.
Hello. Yes, hello. My name is Mythomatic. I am a streamer, voice actor, super nerd. I role play in a bunch of different games, including these silly tabletop games, as well
my
as the
God,
silly
that's
ones on
right.
the internets. that's known as Ark Survival Evolved. I'm running my own server right now, and it's super fun, a lot of work. And that's where I've spent a lot of my time, and probably will spend a lot of my time for a while. So yeah, come check me out. I'll be streaming a little bit later, probably after the next game. I will be still streaming. So when you're done with this Monster Mash, come on over and hang out.
Awesome stuff, awesome stuff. And thanks so much to Fuzzro Punk, donates £30, says Merry Xmas 360 headshots for everyone, love Moxie. Thanks so much for joining us, incredible.
Early Christmas present. You're like 6 months early. Thank you.
It's not, we'll move Christmas for him.
Yeah, don't worry.
Happy Christmas, everyone.
Christmas.
Oh man! And finally,
For everyone.
Asker and you do things right on the internet.
Yes.
I did them with you last night.
By the way, you guys are awesome once again. This game is awesome, and I love getting a chance to hang out with you guys every Wednesday. My name is Askren. I'm the host and the dungeon master for the Exploding Dice channel here on Twitch. The link is in chat. You can hit that up. Where we play D&D usually every Sunday. Our current Out of the Abyss campaign is on hiatus for a little while because of player stuff, but I am putting together a new show, so there will be more D&D coming. Also, I have a really fun talk show. It's called Fuzzy Dice, where every Tuesday at 8 p.m. bring on awesome guests and we talk D&D and we take live questions from chat and we hang out and we have a good time.
Fuck yeah!
With me yesterday, and I have great guests coming for the rest of the week, so you should always hit that follow button and check us out.
Hell yeah! Awesome stuff, guys. Awesome stuff. So we're going to take a quick 5-minute break here. Also getting the new players, give myself and Brad a chance to get a drink, hang out, and let our folks go off into the internet and get Awkward Kitty Inc. and Stranger TV and Pony Punch in. So in about 5 minutes, we're going to be playing Monster Mash D&D 5th edition. It's Kitty's and Pony's first game of D&D, so we're going to throw them right into the deep end, and we're going to throw them in as monsters. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. So join us here in a few minutes, guys, and fear not, for we'll be back after the break. Thanks again, guys, for huge amounts of donations from absolutely everybody. Thanks to Fuzzro Punk, to Velve, to Pregnant Chipmunk, to Highland Lass, and to Flaming Killer, to Sway, and to the Frog for the donations throughout the day. Very generous of you guys, and we'll see you guys for the next game in just 5 minutes'
Thanks
time.
for allowing me to stomp all over your game of Call of Cthulhu.
I'm not forgotten. I've got a special place in my heart where yours was blown apart.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Alright guys, we'll see you on the other side in 5 minutes. Until then, try not to roll too many nat ones, because we're going to be laughing when you do. In a few, guys. Alright then, guys. Hope you guys are ready. Come back, music. Oh, let me set up a tweet for you folks as well. How are we feeling after that Call of Cthulhu session? Man, I had a great time playing that one. I think I broke Steve's heart. I think it did. How long is Monster Mash usually? It's not a usual show. It's just a great fun one-shot which we'll be doing. So it's not a regular one, but I wanted it to happen so that we could have Kitty and Pony come in and play a game of D&D, which would be a lot of fun. That's the tweet, actually. Let me change it on the command for you. I also need to give Fuzzro a bunch of gold. There you go. The retweet counter is set. What's up, Trey? How's it going? Hello, Oren Stark. That was a great session, man. I had a lot of fun doing that one. A lot of fun indeed. Oh boy. Oh, whilst we're waiting, actually.